Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of Fight Night Rising. My name is Khroen, and joining me once again is Boopasaurus. So yeah, I wasn't here last week, but good to be back, of course, as well. We're on a new patch, 11.18, and not as usual tradition here on Fight Night. We usually have, a day to kind of ruminate on the patch, but it was, Labor Day, so it is literally today. This is the patch, just hitting hot. It's hitting fresh. Boop, how you doing? What are your thoughts on what we might see here tonight with this new patch?
Doing good. Happy that you're back. You didn't really miss anything crazy last week, as Jose won doing exactly what Jose does every single week, just a little bit closer than anticipated. And it's always good to see your beautiful face, Crowan, just so you
Thank
know.
you.
But I'm just excited to kind of see again where some of these power levels change. So the number one, I think, on a lot of people's mind is Draven. Right now, we've been making fun
Yeah.
of Draven for the last 15 minutes. We'll tell you why in a second. But yeah, that's what I'm excited about, is seeing where the power levels start getting invested. Are we going to continue seeing the rise of Kale? Or are we going to be seeing some other things?
True. Meta aside, I mean, we know one comp we're gonna see, and as Jose is of course returning as a champion. But let's go ahead and introduce some of the other players as well that we'll be seeing here tonight. It is Jose Paulo, of course, and joining will be Shining Star, Gooba, Gangly, Siula, Dawnglade, Harukara, Maki, and Lucan to round things out. Now, I know, a lot of people know of Gangly in the TFT space, so I'm excited to see what Gangly can bring in Fight Night Rising. Very well known for their TFT content, a lot of interviews they do, some educational content as well. So a nice treat to see him here.
Yeah, I think Gangly, just so everyone knows, I've known Gangly for a bit, but I do think that Gangly has some of the best TFT content out there.
Yeah.
Definitely give him a look, give him a follow. Speaking of which, if you hover your mouse over your screens right now on PC, you can find everyone's profiles and you can follow everyone there. And I think almost all of them will be co-streaming this as well. But one thing that I'm also really excited for Gangly is I popped into his chat a little earlier today and I said, "Don't F it up." Right? And he goes, "I already lost 200 LP. All my eights are hopefully out of my system." So we'll see if that's going to ring true, because we've actually heard other people say, "I lost a lot coming into Fight Night and then I won it." We'll see if that is going
True.
to actually be a thing.
Honestly, that's just like a tournament standard. You just enter your LP away on ladder so you can come into tournament and do well and win some money as well. There is, of course, the rising prize pool. First place will be earning $100. Second place getting 50. Third and fourth place getting $25. And of course, the top three will be invited back to, defend their placement, defend their titles, and try to earn a bit more money. Now, Boop, as we were talking about, it is a new patch. Maybe we're going to see Draven being thrown into the mix. We don't know. Something that I wanted to note, of course, because we do have Jose in the lobby, we got to talk about Nocturne. Now, Nocturne himself wasn't really touched in the patch at all. Nocturne's still the same, but what did get touched are a couple other units, right? And that's going to be Ivern and Volibear. And I know the Volibear thing was, or excuse me, the Ivern thing was listed as an adjustment, but honestly, it's like kind of a bit of a nerf. The CC duration on Daisy is going flat down. I think it's like 0.5 seconds now, so a very short mini stun. Volibear as well is not going to be just destroying shields with his ulti. He's going to be dealing double damage, and his ultimate doesn't do much damage. So both of those things, I think, are going to make that Nocturne comp a little bit weaker. Now, that being said, there was a lot of other comps that got weaker, and we're in for a treat of a game, Boop, as this is also an all-spatula carousel here. Certainly going to make things interesting and going to be really nice for Jose.
The new, the more rare spatula coming
Yeah.
into fruition here. So the reason why, friends at home, that Khroen says that is because now we get an assassin fiddlesticks, no problem. But what this also does is actually opens up some redeemed possibilities too. Redeemed fiddlesticks can actually go with the Vel'Koz really, really well. Or we're going to get a bunch of
Spellweaver.
people just waiting, right, and hoping for
Yeah.
a second spat. And Spellweaver is always a good splash, right? It's one of those two, and there's no cap on it anymore, which is a little bit better a little earlier on, in my opinion, which is weird to say because it doesn't have a cap, but it's better early game. I'll describe that in just a second. But the overarching theme here is that, like you said, we are in for a treat because this could go any number of directions. The road in front of us has many paths.
It definitely does, and I mean, just bringing the path at least back to the spatula conversation for now. spatula conversation for now is going to be that knight spatula. I think is going to be great as well because of a kill composition. She thrives with knights in front of her as the front line, not taking a lot of damage. Of course, for Jose, these are not great items. Now Jose does, make use of early locket slams, I think, rather well, but he of course wants those nocturne items. The gloves especially. Jose usually will start with a glove on the opening carousel. This is most likely going to be, maybe a locket, probably a frozen heart with the tier, but not offered a great start. And I think a couple weeks ago we got to hear Jose talk a bit about what positions he win streaks with, tries to go for that, because usually we'll see Jose just go on a full loss streak, open fort, things like that, and I expect he'll probably do that here, but maybe not. One upgraded unit actually is going to allow Jose to level up and try to hold the streak.
Yeah, there was a point where Jose actually didn't stabilize until 11 HP last week in a lobby and got 8th because of it. So this is my theory on what's happening right now. I'm using some context clues here because you know what's missing from this screen right now.
Oh, the overlay that says Nocturne 20 out of 20.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's going to happen, and seeing Gangly open forting here, especially with the spatula. Like, a spatula start is going to make everyone think about going assassins.
Yeah.
Right? It's just one of those things that happens, right? Fiddlesticks specifically just good with a lot of spatulas. Likes to cook, if you will. But in this situation, right, our friend Gangly here has the glove, has the ability to make it an assassin. And anytime you see someone open forting at the beginning like that, I feel like, not every time, but like 8 out of 10 times it's because they're going to play the Nocturne later. And so they're going to tank their HP as a resource to make sure that they pick first on this carousel. That's why you're not seeing any of these slams. Because like, oh yeah, Nidalee Assassin at this point in the game is probably awesome. Why wouldn't you do that? Well, you actually want to lose right now.
And there's also the I guess reasoning of you don't have to 100% commit to it. If somebody else, or say even randomly like 2 other people are contesting you, and you don't slam the assassin spat, you can still pivot out at that point. It may be awkward depending on what your items are, but there are a lot of attack damage focused compositions that do work out. There's Aphelios, there's even, as we pointed out, Draven perhaps in the conversation. There's Jax as well, there's Akshan. Like, there's a lot of things that we can put these AD items to. Doesn't need to be Nocturne necessarily, even though Gangly might be focusing on that. I'm not exactly sure what Gangly was running on ladder earlier to lose 200 LP. It's either, it was Nocturne and he's sticking to his guns, or being like, you know what, whatever I was doing isn't working, I'm just playing Nocturne, I'm contesting Jose, or if Jose's not even going it, this is just my route right now.
Yeah. Also, mad props to anyone who has a child and can be GM in any game, like in general.
True.
As Gangly, I think, am I making this up? Are they expecting a second one? A lot of my friends are having babies.
I feel like
so. I think I might be mixing some up, but Gangly definitely has one child currently. It's that the dad buff the dad buff in TFT has actually been quite strong in the past.
Yeah, no, it definitely has. And okay, yes, it is Gangly that tweeted the other day. Baby number 2 is on the way. I was like, I'm pretty sure I saw that too, but now confirmation.
Congratulations. Yep.
Yes, congrats to Gangly as well on that.
But yeah, like, I wonder if we're going to keep going this direction, because he did mention to me as well when I popped into his stream that Jose was going to let him play Sins, and I thought it was a joke. But seeing all of the context clues coming up right now, it could actually happen. We have okay items for this, right? We would love more bows or crit gloves, but those aren't going to be around right now. We at least do get to pick first on this carousel.
Yep, gets to pick first alongside Lucan. Going to perhaps just be a glove. Ainley's flirting with the possibility, and certainly because one glove does want to go on the assassin emblem, you do want at least one more glove, if not 2, if you go the Last Whisper IE combo. Now there's people who are out there who say you don't really need IE, and I'm inclined to agree with that. It can be fine, but there are a lot of other items that are very serviceable on Nocturne. You kind of just go Last Whisper and then pick your poison, right? Whatever items that you happen to get, whatever radiant item is in your Radiant shop there, If be it like Runans or honestly even like a Rage Blade, you can make a case for honestly, but it does not have to be just a cookie cutter set 3 items for Nocturne.
Yeah, I saw Last Whisper Runin Titans Nocturne rip through my lobby earlier. Got second
Yep.
because of it. So again, it's like a pick your own adventure. I think there is a best in slot for Nocturne, but the secondary options aren't as far behind as some other character secondary options are. As Dawnglade might be looking at some assassins as well. Anytime, like Last Whisper means attack damage, right?
Yes.
You are not going to see a Last Whisper in a Vel'Koz comp, right? But you are going to see it in any attack damage type of comp. And so this is going to end up going that way. But will it go the way of a Philios or will it go the way of something else? We have yet to find out.
Yeah, Philios, Draven, Jax. Those are going to be maybe the top 3 there in terms of the AD. A lot of options though. It's kind of like it almost can be whatever you roll into. You can pivot into whatever comp that is. Now it's not quite as much of the meta as it was, say, like back in set 4, especially with the chosen mechanic. But you still very much can play that style. You don't have to 100% be committed to a certain one of those, even though it is the more likely thing to do in this meta.
So we've got a little forgotten comp right here with Gooba, with Spellweaver Vayne. If y'all are confused, the Spellweaver buff means anyone can use their ultimate and get the buff on it. But the saving grace here is that, yeah, Ivor just got nerfed, but at 2/6, any 4-cost unit, it's going to be pretty good. So we have the Chug Jug at the front, and then we've got the Ivor. Let's see how big this nerf is going to be in terms of noticeability, because we're going to see the knock up here in just a second. Oh, that is a huge difference.
Yeah,
oh my goodness. Okay.
It's already
that
gone.
is not that is not an adjustment. That is not an adjustment. That is a nerf. I completely agree with you.
I mean,
wow.
for Daisy's benefit, Daisy does have 10 more attack damage and 100 more health, at least at tier 1, 200 more health at tier 2. But yeah, the CC duration going from, I believe it was 1.5 at tier 1 to then 0.5 is, yeah, a big quote-unquote adjustment.
Oh man, anytime I like screw something up now, I'm just gonna be like, I'm just going through an adjustment.
Honestly, it's the best excuse.
But the scary thing about that though, right, is like, why is it? I think the knockup was really strong. I think you could make the argument that Ivern was the best tank in the game, right?
Oh, definitely, and can slot in so many compositions as well. That's
exactly
the thing.
That 3 Revenant combo, right, with Fiddle, Volibear, together with the 3 is absolutely insane in a lot of comps and can splash into most comps, right? You don't necessarily need a kind of anchor unit. You could just do 4 of this and then 3 Revenants, right? and see how it goes, because Volibear has, CC, all that stuff just works out really well. But now that everyone's going to hit the floor a little bit faster, that means that aggro is going to stay on them, right? But since everyone's going to get on the ground faster, they're going to start attacking a little bit quicker as well. So you're actually increasing the damage output by the other team by decreasing stun time. And that was quite a difference. It almost looks wrong when you see it.
It's so weird. It's actually very jarring to witness that. It's like, is that a bug? Like, nope, that's just a change. And we're gonna have to get used to it, honestly. And all these players are going to as well. Maybe it will be a reason why players will stay away from that Revenant package. But of course, it is still strong. It's just how strong compared to the other things. That being said, we did have confirmation that Jose slammed a Shojin's, and Gangly is the one with the assassin emblem. So it looks like Jose has given up the sins to Gangly. See how well, if Gangly can pilot them the same way, or maybe even similarly to the effectiveness that Jose is able to. So big shoes to fill, though.
Funny enough, right, is Gangly has about 20 HP more than Jose usually does at this point in time. So playing a lot more conservatively, actually almost missed out on first pick on that first carousel. So, I think that might be a confidence thing. Jose is so confident that, you know, they're going to be able to stabilize. That doesn't matter what that HP is, where Gangly seems to be playing the early game a little bit more, if you will. As we now have the A-bombs with the Spellweavers. That spat is going to be amazing on the Abomination comp, especially once you get the Vel'Koz in.
Good loss for good loss for Lucan there. Just to the A-bomb, not too bad. Couple damage. Does find an Ivern, which is definitely going to be slotted in. Gets to benefit from the 2 Renewer anyway. Don't need that of Vladimir anymore. And Lucan is finding a very early Vel'Koz. Certainly a few players, it looks like, with Vel'Koz on their mind. Yeah, the Spellweaver spat already on the fiddle there. I believe Jose is going for one as well with the Shojin Slam. So Vel'Koz is a very hotly contested unit. There's not many options for AP routes. Maybe if you super high roll, you can get to like a Teemo, Heimer kind of board, but the amount of times the Heimer's been nerfed, it really is just hard to get that comp online and working, whereas Vel'Koz is very easy to.
I mean, it's a whole cost differential, right?
Yeah.
Not only are there just more copies of Vel'Koz, it's arguably a better unit right now. Heimerdinger will always have a little bit. Actually, I think you could make the argument that Vel'Koz and Heimerdinger actually have about equal late game potential, but the Vel'Koz is actually going to be a little bit more consistent and predictable at this point in time. So we're going to see the Soraka and the Kled battle it out here. Should be Soraka.
Yep.
There it is. Made it a little confusing for everyone, but we're going to win out. And Gangly going to be at 54 HP again. We have seen Jose at like 30 something at this point in time. And so Gangly either is playing it really, really well or playing pretty conservatively. Might be both. You never know.
Gangly still has a couple of rounds. If Gangly does lose the next 2 rounds, could get to 40 HP, benefit from the Stimmy, right? At the same time as, the Radiant Blessing coming through, as well as the PvE round with the Wolves. So he's a little bit better than Jose on average in terms of HP, but still, in the same realm.
Oh, well, this player named themselves after you, Khroen.
Oh, wait.
Because you're a star. You're a shining star, Khroen. Look at you.
I actually was solely unprepared for that. I'm over here blushing now. How do I recover?
Yeah. I got you, man. You can keep blushing over there. I'll talk about Varus for a second. So we've got Kale items on Varus. Other than the Hodge, I really can't identify anyone who would use the Hodge better than Kale right now. But that's definitely going to be something. If a Hodge gets slammed, that is going to be a Kale comp. This already looks like it, especially with the Nautilus in the front line with everybody. That's a very, very nice tank, especially with the knockup it provides. Good positioning, too, is going to keep some of these Rangers safe from the Vel'Koz. But for how long as we get up to that second ultimate, this is going to be pretty close.
It is, but the Ashe and the Lux, not Lux still alive, should be able to, take that out. Even if Vel'Koz got the cast off, there would still be one of those units still alive. But now we get to 3-6. We get to the Radiant item.
This is not what we wanted
to pick is. I mean, there's the Bloodthirster, or the Blessed Bloodthirster. That's a massive Kale item in the late game. This certainly wants to be Kale. Now, Kale was changed a little bit in this previous patch. I believe her base attack damage goes up, but her first Ascension AD scaling goes down. And I believe it even said in the notes, like, this change is to target Deathblade Kales to make them a little bit weaker, but it still should be very, very good.
Yeah, they gave her 300 health 2 patches ago. So, right, I think they went from 550 to 850 or something like that. As Jose going to be rocking with the Vel'Koz. It's going to be the more Morellonomicon on this one. And we have a second Vel'Koz on the bench and a full economy right now. So actually, Jose doing pretty well. Vel'Koz comps love slower lobbies, right? So you can get the Vel'Koz and take advantage of some of these comps that haven't quite locked in just yet, but they're not going to be able to. Ooh,
Lux v Lux.
Okay.
The shield? Here it is.
Here it is. That's it right there. Thrilling. As
the
Lux v
streak.
Lux
That's big.
Ends it up. And you're right. Keeps the streak, especially getting to 20 gold.
Yep. Able to make back up to 30 there. Here's Gangly. Level 7, rolling down, already hits a Nocturne 2, isn't even at 40 HP for the Blessing, and has pretty much everything that he needs. Like, the Radiant Zeeks is a very good pick in this build, buffing up the Nocturne a lot. Nocturne honestly get away with having 2 items for a while, maybe until like the stage 5 carousel, you pick another one up, and there's a potential RFC as well if Gangly really wants to slam and protect. But I think it's okay for Gangly to lose just one more round because it does get you to the again the Radiant Blessing.
I think he wants to lose it.
Yeah,
Where's this Frozen Heart going to go?
I guess.
Newly nerfed. It's either going to go on the Fiddle or the Diana. I like it on Diana. But
Yeah.
with Fiddle Assassin, it doesn't really matter. Both will kind of do the same thing. Diana just has the hard CC where Fiddle is going to get those crits. As we put in the Ivern, and we'll see the effect here is it's going to be a Fist of Fairness on the Vel'Koz.
Okay, a solid Vel'Koz item there. Not going to be good enough, though. Doesn't even get the cast off to start that healing. Nocturne gets there, and the RFC was slammed from Gangly. He's still going to do his spins and heal just from a bit of a safer range, and isn't going to get stuck on awkward pathing sometimes, like some units, will do, having to walk around the whole clump, being all assassins. So gets to avoid that. Attacks can't miss. A lot of good stuff there. I like the slam from Gangly.
Mm-hmm. Any sneaky Nidalee players in a lobby will not like that choice. But now it's all about getting to our tier 2s and our tier 3s. Like the difference between Fiddle 1 and Fiddle 2 is it's nice to have, especially with the Ivern nerfs, right? You're going to need to try to compensate that somewhere else. But we also have another Zeke's potential.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Which is probably what I would do
or
here.
I guess there's an argument for the Banshee's Claw as well. I think protection for Nocturne at this point is going to be good, but Zeke's might just be a bit too tempting for Gangly to pass up on.
Especially, people love putting 3 Zeeks or 3 Lockets, 3 Chalices, 3 Party Hats, right?
True.
Something about the groups of 3 in TFT.
It's just a good number.
As we pick up the Senna as well, because we still have a tier 1 Senna on the board. And we're going to keep it going. We really do want to lose around. Like we want our Radiant Blessing, because a big reason why I think our friend Jose tanks so much is to get more of an advantage on that Blessing, because Jose will be the first to get it, and that's like 2 or 3 rounds earlier than anybody else, and so you might actually find more value by doing it that way. That might be a really good argument to tank this a little bit harder, because it does seem counterintuitive that Gangly's sitting at 42 HP. We should be saying things like, oh wow, so much better, right? But in the end, I wonder if this Radiant Blessing would mean the difference. I didn't quite catch what Sula and Lucan caught from their Radiant Blessing themselves, but we're gonna get it this time, and we'll see if it would have changed anything.
Let's see, here it is, and
it would have
another spat. Okay, could have gone for another Sin spat. Get up to 6 Sin even at this point in the game, which is honestly kind of strong.
Could have had, let's see, what did we put? Deathblade. Okay, so now we have a second spat too. Force of Nature could have been on the menu, but we had already moved into the Assassin Fiddlesticks, which is the right move. And now we didn't really get that much stronger. We just got a couple really good items, and so that advantage not really gonna be visible, because whatever advantage that it would have given him has already been compensated, in my opinion, by some of these players.
It looks like Gangly actually is wanting to prioritize a third item on the Nocturne as opposed to making aura items like Zeeks or anything like that. Gangly really wants this power consolidated into the Nocturne. Nocturne is the carry of the comp. You see it there. Saw it there briefly with the damage screen before Gangly kind of popped it back to the side, but Nocturne does all the damage in the team, and that's almost always going to be the case unless Diana gets like multiple ultimates on a huge clump or something like that, and it looks like it is a glove. So either IE or Assassin spat, both on the table. Banshee's Claw is again as well, but Gangly already kind of avoided that one earlier.
You could do an Assassin Volibear at the end of the day as well. Get him into the back line, make the trampoline a little bit more exciting. As we have Ciola right now. 4 knights, 3 redeem. Probably going to see no Kales right
level
now.
7, no gold.
Ooh, so this is why we're at 25 HP. We had to it looks like we were going a certain direction. It looks like we were going Kale because we locked in the Nocturne and the Thresh and the Leona so early, but it doesn't seem like anything else locked in after that. And we were going one direction, and now we have to kind of make a secondary decision in having Lucian pick up this comp instead.
Yeah, and these aren't fantastic Lucian items. They are serviceable, but a lot of the Lucian success recently, which I mean, they was nerfed a little bit, was like an IE Jewel Gauntlet builds in Lucian, but is not going to be able to stand up to the Assassins at all. Sula taking another big hit here, has to sell one of these units on the bench to even make 20 gold. Going 8 is so far off, and even if we go 8, it's going to be very, very unlikely to find a Kale or the Lucian too. Sula, it's such a rough spot here.
It might seem like the team is doing a good job. Like, length of time alive is not like the best indicator of success in this game, right? Because those are knights. Those knights could have stayed alive for another minute and a half and probably still died because there just wasn't enough damage on the field. We tried to protect our Lucian from the assassins, it looks like, but that did not happen. Nocturne said, kissed Lucian on the forehead and said goodnight instead. And now Ciela at 16 HP. On the brink of elimination. We'll probably make it to chickens, but I don't know for how long after that.
Oh, actually, I believe I saw some players who had not benefited. Yes, actually, Arakawa Maki has not used this spat for anything, it looks like, yet. And so when they get in range of the Radiant Blessing, we'll just have a force of nature there.
And that's always that's the risk, right? Is do I slam something now for an early game advantage or wait for the fawn and give myself an extra unit for the late game advantage? As Ciela does fall double Titans.
Yeah.
Guardian Angel on the Yasuo. That's a fun little build.
Radiant J at that. I mean, attack speed go crazy.
Yep.
Gonna have the second life. Gonna be super tanky as well in the Titan stack up.
Spellweaver.
Whoa, wow. Double Spellweaver spat, 6 Spellweaver. These units are going to do a lot of damage. They are only tier 1, though. Lucan has enough gold. I mean, some people would argue, you sack one more round after this, go all in on 5-2, hopefully hit Vel'Koz 2, but as we know, Vel'Koz is already contested in this lobby,
so items.
It needs to scout out how many there are, and if it's actually a viable thing to, hit that Vel'Koz upgrade. Maybe it needs to actually go all in right now before more are taken out of the pool. Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
All right, we have 22 gold to run with. We need 8 of that for a Vel'Koz. So there's one, there's 2.
Oh my.
Sometimes it's just that easy, right? Sometimes you just hit.
Hit 2 Vel'Koz and like 3 rolls there. That was pretty good.
This is actually an item I'm surprised I don't see on a Teemo more often because of the cruel trait.
Yeah, I feel like we used to a lot.
But... Yeah, and everyone kind of just like abandoned it because it actually wasn't that easy to get Teemo to be the last person on the field.
True,
right? That wasn't as controllable.
Yeah,
but if you put a GA on him, you're giving yourself an opportunity. It's kind of like winning with Exodia. You're not really interacting, right? You're just you're just trying to survive for the Teemo. And you're seeing 6 Spellweavers there as once that Vel'Koz ulted, it was HP didn't exist. Disintegration Ray really, really stuck to its name there against Dawnglade.
Interacting. Dawnglade didn't get a chance to interact with Lucan's board there. It's just Vel'Koz tearing it all apart. Ciela does go 8th from that unfortunate position. That's just what's going to happen. Gangly also did hit Nocturne 3 as well, so we got that factor in there. And Dawnglade, another person who now, from the virtue of patience, gets to be rewarded for the force of nature, or with the force of nature.
And this would have been really nice, again, for Gangly to have a couple rounds earlier to just kind of have all of that information. Because if you're a player who tanks and you're the first one to get the Radiant Blessing, that means that you were the first player to have all of the context, right, available. You take out all of the RNG, and the other players only know it if they were watching you at that time. Ooh. So you got to take advantage of those opportunities as the Frozen Heart goes on to the Viego, as this is going to be, an Applejacks.
True. The Gwen Shroud, not in a great spot. I actually don't think it'll matter. The Jax has found the Kale. And yeah, the Kale goes down. No real defensive items there. But Shining Star has this Kale on 50 gold, 78 HP, level 8. This is going to be a level 9, probably a Kale too. Definitely a comp worthy of threatening the game win there.
Lux, oh my god.
This corner is just... Okay, there we go.
Yeah, all right. So Lux isn't good. It was just a bunch of knights that were... Lux... I'm sorry, Lux fans out there.
Oh
It
no.
was a bunch of knights doing the damage. That's why it took so long. As we have like the Jax comp right now, right? It's going to look
Yep.
very similar to the Kale comp, right? Because it's the same, other than Jax versus Kale for a lot of people, but it's same kind of concept, right? Give yourself a front line to let your carry ramp. Jax is going to be a little less consistent because he is going to be frontlining himself, and so is going to need a little extra support. Nice movement on the Gwen to keep the Jax safe from any assassins that might decide to say hello.
Yeah, they're going to get through the Gwen pretty quickly, though, and then turn their attention to the Nocturne. I mean, the Ivern stun is only 0.5 seconds, but it does get chained with the Pike stun, and the Pike having the Frozen Heart means that the Assassins are going to do a lot of work. And this is actually the scenario that I was talking about earlier. The Nocturne only has 2 damage items from Gangly, but it is enough. It is serviceable, especially with them being Nocturne 3, and now has the opportunity to find another item on the Stage 5 carousel. It didn't look like from first glance there was any good options, and I mean, Hodge isn't really great, but it can work. It's taken anyway. It looks like Gainley did want it. Now Nocturne's going to remain 2 items for much longer.
Yeah, I mean that is a low roll when it comes to the item choices.
Yeah.
Whew, I'm super intrigued to see where the Spellweaver comp's going to end, because we have two 6 Spellweaver comps in the lobby right now. Jose
Such a
being
weird
one
game.
of them. Well, you started with Spats.
Yeah,
right. We went to culinary school first, and now we've got we've got a fully built Fiddlesticks on the bench. Already, we finally do get to put it in. I think we're going to put our Spellweaver Spat on the Fiddlesticks and let that be a secondary carry along with our Vel'Koz.
There we go. Shiv Fiddle. Oh yeah, Shiv's an item that's in the game.
Well,
that exists.
Shiv and Garen do the same thing, so that's only going to be better for the Spellweavers. This is where you actually don't want Vel'Koz to ult too quickly. But man, that's a lot of damage.
Oh wow, Nocturne actually goes down there. Heart from the Fiddle ulti and the extra mana from the Shiv. Vel'Koz gets to clean it up. I was not expecting Gangly to lose the streak right now, but probably partly because there wasn't a good damage item in the carousel. Gangly did not have the power that he expected. And now the HPs in the lobby have really evened out. You know, Ciula was the kind of odd man out in this lobby, a lot weaker than the rest, but it's 1 or 2 rounds away from like half the lobby being eliminated.
And that's what happens when there's an assassin player, right? They tank and then they take, where does that HP, when they start winning, where does that HP come from? The top, right? And so everyone gets more even and everyone gets put in a position where every round counts. And that is definitely the case here.
100%. I don't know if I saw that correctly, but I swear I saw someone having an Aphelios 3. I could have been crazy though. We'll have to keep an eye on that one.
Okay, Thresh MVP, but it's the second ult that is the problem, and we're going to be A-okay getting... Did you see the Ziggs take that Jax down in just one go? My goodness.
That's what happens to 6 Spellweavers. Oh man, they start slapping. Oh, Cruel? Are we going to have... no, not quite.
That was close. That was actually really close. I wonder if that Teemo had a GA.
Yeah,
if that was the Teemo with the GA. Ooh, Titans. This is a nice little item for literally anybody. Yep. You can put it on Fiddlesticks. That should be fine.
Speaking of eliminations as well, I mean, Dawnglade and Lucan do go out 7th and 6th respectively. Our top 5 mainly trying to make it into the top 4 with Sins, maybe minus LP on the ladder, but plus LP in Fight Night Rising. There's no LP here, but you know, in the form of some money maybe.
Yeah, and we do get confirmation there is an Aphelios 3.
Oh boy. Okay, I did see that. I was like, did I not? Like, I didn't. Okay. Gotcha.
The Convergence right now, there is an Aphelios 3. Shining Star going to be the one running the Kale. Yeah. We knew this from a while ago. Those are the same 3 items that we saw on Averis a little earlier, but is going to be able to race to the Garen 2 faster than all of our other Garens, as Garen went out of the meta and then came back in, and now we have Kales again. Are we going to keep rolling is the question.
Yeah. Mine's like Alio 2 as well, which is a lot of gold to spend. I mean, it is nice. You really want that, but the synergies are kind of perfect anyway. 6 Redeem, 3 Ironclad, 4 Knight. I mean, even 2 Dawnbringer with that. And now we get Cavalier on the Garen. What more could you ask for? I guess a Kale too, but
An Aphelios 3. That
yep,
is going to be
there it
on
is.
the other side of the board. And so with the Titan stacking, not only is he going to be huge, he's also going to be doing a ton of damage. And remember, this is a 4-night comp that this Garrett is doing really well on. Once that shield goes away, okay, we should be okay. But the Frozen Heart is there. I may have underestimated our friend Garen here.
Wow.
As Garen took down 3 or 4 units on their own. As Gangly lives, Gooba does take some damage, and from top to bottom, we're about 25 HP away from each other.
Yeah, another spat being offered there, but Shining Star does not have any components left remaining, so it will be a Giant Slayer pickup. Probably just go on the Jax. Has the option for another Galio upgrade. I mean, we can take out something like an Ironclad. Can take out a Thresh. I mean, Thresh is just so good.
Especially with the Vel'Kozes on the board.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you need the Thresh right now.
So taking out Ironclad, I mean, thinks they're not really valuable here. It's Kale too as well.
Interesting, because I think the reason why Garen did so well last time was because we had that extra Ironclad, because it was with that Aphelios, right?
But then we just ran into that matchup, so probably won't run into it for a little bit. So gonna be running into all of these AP comps, which is why the Lulu is down here. Gives 2 Mystic.
Yeah, and also this Luck's about to give some fat shields. Because of the Rabadons there, but that shield not really that big of a deal. Wow, that is actually a pretty big loss that I honestly did not expect. That is a 5th place for Shining Star with a KL2 Garen 2 on the board, by the way. And then we have this.
Yeah, I mean,
good old the huge.
Get to see the Sin still in action. That 5th from Shining Star was, you just call that one a BG. I mean, you have so much gold, like 78 HP, pushing 9, hit the Gale 2, hit basically every single upgrade. It's just whether it be like poor positioning, which there was poor positioning for a couple rounds. That was the punish that Shining Star like could have gotten first in this lobby, maybe not to these Aphelios. But a 5th is certainly not what we expected.
Whoa, look at the difference between the shields there on that Volibear. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Double damage to shields is not a lot of damage at all. My goodness.
No,
well, that was a big crit from
Assassin
the Ivern too.
Ivern.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
The Spells King worked. Crit. That was Wowie.
So if that had like 3 Archangels on it, that would have been a 1-shot kill.
Oh, 5 Revenant for Gangly?
Look,
yoinked by Jose. Jose says, I gave you the comp, but I'm not going to give you a higher placement than me. That's not what we're doing here today. Gangly forced to take a locket.
The fact that he did
grabbing a shiv.
So it's like, have you ever seen like in a cartoon where like someone's like looking for a parking spot and then they find it and then some sports car comes in and takes it? Jose was that sports car, just that.
Exactly.
To Gangly.
Oh no, it feels so bad. But Gangly still gets off of that a Gwen 2, finding one in the shop. Gwen 2 on 8 with these 3 items. I mean, that's big. No Fiddle 2, but I mean...
Yeah, I don't think, there's a possibility that we get a double elimination coming up here with the 3 remaining members. It's going to be, oh my god, Jose actually does end up going a Revenant direction. I think just to spite Gangly a little bit. But also props to Jose for not running Nocturne and not getting last place. That's really neat. But it's good to see that Jose has these other looks and actually almost won on that round outside of the GA, which... now I'm remembering, because it's been a while since I've seen it, is a full health revive.
Yes.
But 80% less attack speed, is that true? Did I just make that up?
Less attack speed? It gives attack speed throughout. It was the like shadow one that reduced attack speed when
that's
you
right. That's right.
All right, Adams, only positives, no negatives. Not time for that negativity anymore. The shadow items used to take from
PMA. This is a PMA chat. Positive mental attitude here at TFT.
I mean, you're going to need a positive mental attitude to take out this Aphelios 3.
Seriously, with 2 Titans on it, it's pretty much a tank. It is a tank. It's a tank that does damage, which is the scariest kind of unit in TFT, by the way. Yeah. As nice ult from the Volibear actually stops the ramp up from the Aphelios, but it's only a matter of time.
Damage is what this guy is doing.
And that Aphelios is going to be good against Nocturne. That comp is good against Nocturne just in general. But without that Aphelios 3, I think that Aphelios 3 ended up blocking an Assassin lobby win again here. So we'll see if it's actually going to be a little bit same old, just with different names this time.
We will see. I mean, we get a chance to take a look at the scores already. It's just game number 1, of course, is Harukawa Maki Pilots Aphelios 3 to a win. I'm thinking back to the mid game, and that was a Yasuo, and I was like, okay, this Yasuo's doing great, but I didn't really see how we got to the Aphelios 3, but somehow a lot of rolls pulled in from some Jose kind of style luck. Just every single shot must have been Aphelios for like 10 shots in a row. Crazy, crazy stuff. But Gangly going second, Jose third, Uba in fourth for 6 points, then Shining Star, Lucan, and Dawnglade, and Seula down the line. It is only one game. Of course, everyone is still in it. Jose proved last week that you could start off very poorly and still come back double first in games 3 and 4 and take the crown. Still anybody's shot.
Definitely. And it was, I'm still kind of laughing about Jose stealing that Rev spat.
Yeah.
Almost for no reason other than to keep Gangly from it. But at the end of the day, it's same old, same old. Not a lot of the patch outside of the Revenants that we saw. Ivern was kind of like the biggest thing that we saw.
Yes.
And I think that shield change from Volibear is actually going to be a pretty big difference.
Especially when you go against
day.
Nightbringers, who the shields are going to be massive.
Exactly. I mean, my Volibear's only ulted when no shields were present. So, like, the shields would appear after the Volibear ult. But now, the double damage really isn't a lot. Because, like you said, it just isn't that much damage.
Yeah, it got nerfed as well. Just the Volibear tier 1 damage, I believe. It's like 125 damage.
So even if that crits, that's like not that good still. So, you know, that's been very, very interesting to see. They didn't mess with CC time on Volibear, but they did adjust Ivern, which I do agree with, because the double knock up there was insane, especially since Diana would follow up with hers as well. So that's going to be brought into scope a little bit better. But at the end of the day, I think that's the only thing that we really saw affect right now. I didn't really see any of those buffs, really, if I'm looking back. No Draven. During that entire lobby. But starting with the spat, you're probably not going to get a lot of Dravens anyway. So we're probably going to get a much different kind of game this time around, as we don't have a bunch of spatulas to start with. Harukawa Maki, our Aphelios 3 player from last lobby, our winner, also rocking a top 3 little legend as well. Going to start with Vayne and this belt.
Vayne and a belt. Not a great start. Also, people, speaking of the starts, generally players would be okay with starting a Chain Vessel at times, because a Gargoyle Stone Plate was actually such a broken item. It was nerfed going into this this patch, as well as the Radiant version of it. The Dvarpala Stone Plate actually was an item that was so insane. We're memeing it for a while based off of the name, I suppose, a little bit. But,
has anyone figured out who Dvarpala is?
We're still asking.
Okay, we're still
waiting.
We're still on the milk.
Maybe someone here knows. Maybe
if someone in chat can give us, because it's the Dvarpala Stone Plate. I'm just wondering where Dvarpala comes from.
Yeah, how did they get a stone plate? Who even are they? Like, there's so many questions. Maybe, you know, they're probably gonna be in the right MMO in like 10 years. I'm just waiting for that, honestly. I'll see you all there. But,
exactly. How does one get a stone plate? How does one receive a stone plate? That's a good question. That's a very good question.
Stone plate, like, that you eat off of, or is like, I imagine it's like armor, obviously, but like,
yeah, I mean, a stone plate is a bad performing plate. I don't know. Apparently, all right. Gangly might be running that assassin again, especially with that quick left start. 3 items already for Harukawa, so we aren't going to get any on this last round, but we've got a good amount of money on the bench. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gold on the bench. We could get up to 11 and buy the Sejuani. But what are we going to decide?
A couple Dawnbringers, couple Brawlers seems to just be the play. I mean, could sell up to 4 and level up, but yeah, it does do that. I figured if Harukawa was going to do that, they would have pre-leveled. I guess didn't want to keep the options open, because had the set, might have used Brawlers in that way, but the start is still fine. I think you got a couple of a couple Brawlers, a couple Dawnbringers, and you even get the Legionnaire buff in there with the Aatrox, since slamming a Sunfire is still going to be good in the early game. Certainly going to be good enough to beat Gangly in this round, because Gangly looks like, yet again, love start. This is an assassin composition. Gangly's going 4 for 4 tonight.
All right, we have a definition of Dvarpala, and it actually makes total sense. If it is a fearsome giant, everyone would be targeting the giant because it's big, right? And that would
True.
be why that they would take less damage. That makes sense to me. Though
Okay.
you could have literally just defined anything, and I would have been like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, honestly. But who are they in
Yeah.
league lore though? Why is it?
Yeah, exactly. Like you literally could have
Hmm.
been like, "It's Irelia's mom," and I would have been like, "Oh, cool. That's
It's
canon now." Yeah.
Oh man, that would have been the most like okay, like sure, I'll
Sure,
believe
yeah,
you.
it's
Yeah.
Irelia's mom. I will tell everybody. That's the equivalent of like reading the headline and posting it about it on Twitter,
Oh
right?
no,
Just
which
in
so many
real
people
life.
do,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I only heard the headline, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But we're back in game 2. Dawn Glade, this time wanting to do a little bit better off, but we have a really good setup to start here, especially with the Jeweled Gauntlet on the Yasuo. The Jeweled Gauntlet helps the true damage crit,
Yep.
which is something that I feel like is one of those things that people have been building Jeweled Gauntlet on Yasuo for so long. I think sometimes you forget why. And that is why, friends.
Yep. There you go. Still pretty good. Could take out the Nocturne, and yeah, it does. I mean, Nocturne early game, notoriously kinda bad. Dawnglade kind of showing us why there. Yasuo comps are still pretty serviceable. I believe it was in one of Robin's insane, 1-1-1-5-1-1 NA Regionals run that did feature a Yasuo 3 game.
We're
I
never
think,
going to see that again,
yeah,
by the way.
that was.
That's never going to happen again.
He
If you watch that
he
live, I'm jealous.
Yeah, he even like he admitted he high rolled so hard, like more dog blessed him that day. But it's still he played it well, obviously, with high
Yeah.
rolling. But
I
that's
mean,
such an insane run. There was, I believe, like Noob Owls. I think it was like beginning of set 5 Twitch Rivals run that was comparable. Like he had an insane amount of firsts in that. Now it wasn't this quite the same level of competition as like a North American regionals, but still, was a lot of good players in there. But definitely Robin, actually insane. It did feature Yasuo, so his comp
actually
is still viable.
insane. I think if you can rush it, if you can get it online like really early and then just like take HP from the lobby, I think that's when it does its best work.
Yeah.
And it's definitely going that direction. We want to push for Yasuo 2 here pretty shortly. We do level up here, so we're going to get level 5 and do just that. And hopefully get a couple more Yasuos at the same time, because it does not seem like everyone is going that same direction, but there's a Nocturne with the
with the
glove
glove.
on,
Yeah, we both
on
saw
the
that one. We're like,
carousel.
yep, there Gangly goes. Nocturne with the glove. Oh man, just get gifted. Like that is absolutely perfect. Couldn't ask for anything better.
I don't think you could. Like,
No,
because
it's actually
Nocturne with
perfect.
bow wouldn't be as good, because you actually get that hidden dodge chance too. So like it's not a
True.
lot, but if like the Nocturne is 1v1ing someone and gets a dodge and you get the swipe, like that's a big deal. So that is a 1 out of 10 chance, right? But you can't discount it, as it's going to be the cloak for Jose, who already has a Deathblade and a Hodge. And
Which is very good. We get to see the trait of Jose playing flexibly as well. We haven't seen that in so long.
I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah, I mean,
there are people out there who
time.
only play one thing and find a lot of success on it.
Oh yeah.
Mech players come to mind for me, like immediately, right? Me mech or me BM. No, that's you.
Yeah.
But
20 out of 20. That's
20
a
out of
thing for a
20.
reason.
Exactly, but this Nidalee will be turned into a Kale here. We haven't been able to rush with this Yasuo all that much, so our advantage, especially with that itemization, is going to start depleting, especially around 3-2-3-3, as people get a little bit more powerful. We have 2 people at 100 HP, and this board actually looking pretty good for an early board. We have our 4 knights in already, and we have a very good item carrier to combine with either our 2 knight or 4 knight package. It doesn't really matter. I think Jose is going to win the round anyway, unless we face off against that Yasuo.
I mean, Thresh 2 is just so good at this point in the game as well. And even if you do have, the Yasuo spell damage, yeah, again, this board looks funny, just 2 Nocturnes. The Yasuo spell damage will be something that will tear through Nidalee. I mean, she can't dodge spells, just the autos.
Yeah,
does give the cloak to Leona, trying to make sure this round is a win. Let's see what happens.
The Thresh actually hooks the non-carry here.
Yeah,
gets closer to the Nidalee. And I am wrong, my friends. It's going to be the Ziggs 2 and the Callista. Pretty miserable targeting from that Nidalee, to be from the start, but also
Yep.
Siula on fire, breaking a little bit of bad luck there as well.
Yeah, Sula did have a lot of bad luck game one. See if they can turn things around here. 11 gold, 4 streak, not bad. A lot of item slams, a lot of upgrades as well, making sure that besides the getting foiled in round one, we're going to be able to stabilize here. And Hodge is a flexible item. Stone plate, very good frontline, even though it was nerfed. I believe it went from 20 armor and MR you get per unit targeting you to 18. That item has seen a lot of changes, I think, over this set, but hopefully now is
Ever since
landed
it was
in a good spot.
introduced,
Yeah.
remember in set 4 when Tom Kench could gain health uh, with it on because
Yeah.
because his skill was, if these people target me, I take less damage, and then you added the stone plate, and then
Yep.
eventually it just did negative
Actually unkillable.
damage. Yeah, that was hot fix, but that happened. 30 gold now for Sula. This is more gold than we ever saw him with throughout the entire lobby pretty much last time. And we're going to move into 4 Knights too. It seems like a lot of people try for Kale to start and then abandon it once they kind of see the directions go some other ways. Of
Yeah.
course, someone will get the route to Kale, right? But it is starting to become a lot more competitive. I've noticed in my games too that it's just harder to find Kale now.
Definitely. I mean, for one, it's going to be sometimes contested. That just makes it, just going to be making it harder to find. But also, it's a thing where, like, if you're actually looking for the unit, it feels like you never get it in your shops. Whereas
I
before, it's
know.
like, oh, I see Kale again. Like, what the? Never want to play her. Just look over, ignore her. But not the case anymore.
Definitely not. That's totally true. I say that all the time. It's like my Nidalee doesn't know how to dodge, but their Nidalee never gets hit.
Yep.
Right? That's how I feel.
It feels like negativity bias.
Exactly. So we've got Harukawa now running a tank Riven. A little surprised it's been a little. I thought that this is what they meant for her to be, to be
Yeah.
completely honest with you, because of how her ult works. That was my assumption. It does seem like it's okay, as we
Yeah.
have a Draconic player on the board as well. Nice little egg rolls there.
Yeah,
Oh,
with
funny!
some
I just
kale
got
looking
that.
items.
Your egg rolls. That was
Yep.
not on purpose.
There you go. It clicked. It clicked,
There
as
it
TFT
is.
players like to say.
I high rolled on that one.
There you go. Plus knowledge. Looking with some kale looking items. Ash 2 upgrade means this comp's gonna be a little bit better, but Ash is not a great carry through the mid game. She's just not. Even if you run Draconics, you usually would have your carry be Zyra. At least that's how these boards used to work with Draconic. If you're going the AP routes, there was a little bit of time, I think, where Ash had her place as like maybe you can tier 3 her, but like a Rageblade, Rudan's Deathblade on her and she can carry. Not so much something that we've seen at all recently though.
I don't think Ash can carry unless set is good.
Yeah, true.
In like one of those states, right? I think is the only time really Ash can find herself some purchase, if you will, because of the armor shred. It's completely necessary for Ash to do any damage. I mean, I was just playing earlier today, and it was a tier 3 Ash with Rageblade, very similar items, fully attacking my Rel. Like, and it did not get through her, like not even close, right? Because of what was going on around it. So definitely needs some debuff magic to go along with it. As we also see a Karma,
Yeah,
for the first time in like what feels like a millennia. Usually Karmas get 6th or below here at Fight Night. We'll see if we break the pattern today.
true. I was actually at a lobby earlier today, and there was 6 AP comps and 2 AD comps, Karma being 2 of them. All the AP comps went bot 6, and the AD comps went top 2. It's just a 1-game sample size, but we'll see. We'll see if that happens again.
For most gamers, that's all you need.
True, 1-game sample size. It must be a thing.
Yeah, the last thing I want to do is like reward myself with bad behavior, right? But the Ash this time is going to top frag, but like look at that damage chart, right? The Varus had only 1,000 less and no items, right? And is not actually attacking as often as the Ash either because he stops for the ult. But this is another pretty good carousel for our friend Gangly.
True. There's Diana with a glove. Gangly is going to go for the bow, though I guess did not have a bow yet at this point. The HP is a bit more, I'll say, Jose-esque right now, 42. Just needs to lose 1 round in the next 2 to get that Radiant Blessing. We've gone over to Gooba, though. Gooba is our Karma player.
Yeah, the goal for Gangly is to hit the Radiant Blessing, either on the round of the Radiant Blessing, or this round. That's what Jose likes to do, is to get the stimmy on this round, get your Radiant item the next round, get your last couple items on Wolves, and then you can like really push it for one.
Yeah. That's what it's going to be. See what the Radiant options are going to be for items. See what Gandy picks up, and the rest of the squad. Jose also playing flexibly pretty well. Jose knows how to play both styles, and that's something that we can't say for every single player, especially on Fight Night. We see players who thrive with win streaking, who thrive with full loss streaking. Jose can kind of do it all here. At least that's what it's seeing. If he can keep this trend up.
All right, let's see if these Karma Soul Flares are going to hit all the right spots. And it looks like they will be finding purchase.
Wow.
That's my new favorite phrase, finding purchase.
I like it. It
sounds so fancy.
Yeah, it sounds like eloquent. Like
exactly.
Sounds good.
We have Last Whisper IE on the Nocturne. We're just waiting for that to go. Usually, a Thorn Mail is like the get when it comes to assassin comps. And we'll see its effectiveness there. We have Lucan is going to get the stimmy. Everyone watching. It's going to be a Thief's and an item component. Yep. That one's going to be a bow.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Draven.
Lucan. Interesting. We see the Kennen having a Radiant Frozen Heart. Ash having the Deathblade. Definitely wants to be a Kale later. Options for Goomba. Going to be okay for Karma. I wouldn't say it's great, but Demon Slayer actually here could be solid. Already have one tank item for Bramble. Don't really need the Rose Thorn, so it will be Demon Slayer. I'm actually really curious to see how effective this Karma is going to be, specifically throughout the beginnings of Stage 4, with only being Karma 1. I think that is the potential most vulnerable spot for a Karma composition until she will get tier 2'd, and I think that if she can get past that stage, Karma can actually have a high placement. Maybe. We'll see. I think the pieces are there.
Okay, so this is actually not a bad loss either. It's either going to be by 2 or 1 unit. Well, 1 unit. Leona.
Hopefully. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Leona forgot how to die real quick.
Yeah.
But Gooba only going to be a 1 unit loss, 50 gold for Dawnbringer. This is already so much better than last time. As some of our other friends get our stimmies.
There you go.
It's going to be a sword
yep.
for Gangly, along with that Thief's Glove. Singular Thief's Glove.
One thief, one glove.
There's nothing more lonely than a singular thief.
Wow. That's deeper than I expected. Oh, there's actually a Radiant Blue buff on Yasuo. Now, I've tried that once before. It was a few patches ago, mind you. It was not it, I guess I'll say. Nowadays, maybe it could. The meta has shifted a little bit. But I think it definitely wants to be something else later. Maybe a Karma. Maybe something else. It still could be okay on Vel'Koz as well. Watch Gangly's roll down.
We hit everything we needed. Yeah. Other than the Fiddle 2.
Even 3 Nocturnes away.
I say we keep rolling, my friend.
Really? That's interesting. I should look at the spot. Oh, I guess missing the 4th Assassin's a really big deal. Is there no... Oh, there is a Kha'Zix there. There's just no Diana. So yeah, with that in mind... It seems as though rolling for that 4th assassin is going to be a little bit of top
Put it priority. On the Ivern. No! Yeah. I wanted to see Ivern with some damage with its more AD. Right now, maybe... Does... This isn't good, but I'm asking for all of the innovators at home.
Oh, yes.
Does the Rageblade work on Daisy?
Does Rage work on Daisy? I would not assume so, but I actually...
Like Heimer and their turret?
Don't know, but I wouldn't assume so. Maybe I'm wrong, though. I actually haven't ever looked or checked or asked.
Yeah, because now with all that attack damage, might be a fun little thing to win a round off of.
Oh.
Like, if I get 8th and win 1 round off of that, like, that's totally worth it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've got the Radiant ZZ Rot this time. And a couple of our Revenants on the bench. This is par for the course. This is all right. This Nocturne should be able to take most comps right now.
Yeah, I do wonder what Gangly's Radiant item options were to take a Zezrot's invitation. I always look at that item and I'm like, that's one of the lowest tier, if not the lowest tier, Radiant items. Certainly not going to be great in this composition. Sure, it'll find some value, but like, feels bad.
If it was tankier, it's a great choice, right? It provides you a front line that you normally didn't have. But it's going to be positioning from the Nocturne that's going to be helpful here. And now after this res, it's going to be, bad timing with the Lucian. 280 extra attack damage there as Lucan is going to start win streaking.
Yeah. Oh wow, okay. I actually checked Gangly's VOD. So he was offered a Radiant Titans or Titan's Vow with the Nocturne 2 items, but decided to ignore that and take the Zezrot's invitation. Now,
Okay.
definitely would have gone the Titan's Vow. I think a lot of players would have.
Yeah. What a solid item that item is, just in general. Just solid. Almost all upside with that item, to be completely honest with you. You're sacrificing a little top end damage, but you might end up doing more because you're tankier at the end of the day. But we're going to put the Thief's Gloves on the Diana, and Trapclaw going to find value there this time. And it's going to be really annoying for our Nocturne to get to the Karma because of the Syndra, the greatest peeler in the game.
True.
And it's going to be the Karma taking the dub there.
Yeah.
Karma can take wins against things like Kale and Nocturne, but it's random targeting. So you just better cross your fingers and hope.
True, and this is actually the stage that I was talking about. These few rounds before Stage 4 Carousel, I was most concerned for Gooba and the Karma, but Gooba went 7 and found 2 Karmas pretty much immediately, it seems like, because they still have back up to 30 gold. So gets to kind of circumvent that worrying area with the Karma composition, gets to take down comps like Nocturne and scale well into the late game. Definitely excited to see where that can land now at this point, because I think it could be, if Karma is actually a good carry right now, with everything else being nerfed, it could be a top 2, top 3 comp here.
Man, I don't know why this just came into my mind, but I remember when Karma, like 7 years ago, was meme-worthy bad on Summoner's Rift, right? Why can't she avoid this, man? It's either on Summoner's Rift or TFT, people memeing on her on being bad.
It's Karma things.
It's just Karma things, but it might end up working out here, especially with items that we're seeing at some of these higher HP totals, especially with that Giant Slayer. Could be a really good option against these, big Knight comps right now, as we Morello's and the Frozen Heart on the Garen.
Oh. All right. This is very interesting. I was thinking it was going to be some tanky items on a Galio and the TG on a Jax for maybe a bit of a pseudo carry. But this with this line from Shining Star, we have a lot of better front line, but still a Draven 1 and a Jax 1. Now they both are paired on the board, and we have about 20 gold to roll with. We 30 approximately next turn. So likely to hit something. It's just that Draven only these 2 items. Not going to be the best. Maybe the Giant Slayer Slam is going to be warranted once one of these units are upgraded.
We do have a Kale on our bench. We're going to move that Kale in.
Sold.
Nope, it gets sold.
Yeah,
so we're going to keep
quite Kale items.
With this. Oh, man, we're really trying to force something now, aren't we?
Yeah, it's just that is the kind of hybrid carry between Draven Jax.
Yep, and so it can work, right? Especially at this particular stage in the game. But by 5-3, 5-4, you're going to want to invest in a singular unit. Draven does not get saved by the newly tier 2'd Rel, but the Garen is here. The Garen is around and is going to town on some of these units right now. Another ult should be what the doctor ordered for Shining Star, but the Garen is starting to get targeted. Oh, but look at the Irelia just get down Mr. Presidenting the Garen there, eats the Lucian bullets, and will make this a 1 unit loss because of it.
Yeah, that was almost a tragedy, but it is going to be a 1 unit loss, means that maybe Shining Star can have a couple of lives left remaining. do have a moment of reprieve as we reach the Raptors round PvE. We see Harukawa actually having a Draven too, so someone trying out this Draven composition, seeing how far it can get. 4 Forgotten, 3 Cavaliers, kind of middle of the pack HP. Only players really avoiding that area are going to be Jose and Ciula, 70 and then 69 HP respectively. Ciula having a much better showing than last game.
Understatement.
Yes.
He was already eliminated 5 rounds ago from the maybe earlier than that last time, as Gangley hits Nocturne 3 right at 5-1. Good timing there. Dongley does find the Fiddlesticks 2 with a Nocturne comp. Finding Fiddlesticks can be a little difficult, as we do pick up the Kale, which is what we wanted the whole time, but our Lucian's doing so well now, right? Like, this is where the joke is, hey, do you want to put in a Kale and start losing? This is where that would happen.
Yeah, not with these items. Giant Slayer, double Hodge. I mean, 1 Hodge on the Kale. Maybe a Giant Slayer, but you would need it to be like Rage Blade or something. You need some attack speed for Kale. That's just going to be a thing. Lucian with these items, much, much better. Is it good enough, though, to take out this Draven? I'm not so sure. And it's not looking like it.
Especially now that the Titans has gone through. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, wow.
That was actually pretty insane. But now we've got the Sunfire cape on the Lucian, but the ult is going to be able to bring them down. And it's going to be the Giant Slayer at the end of the day, too. That was a very close round. Ciula, thanks the Mort God, the coin flip, I think, goes their way.
That was such an insanely close fight. Super, super insane. Now they get blessed with the Sunfire Cape from the 5-2 Armory. Looking for Lucians as well. 3 more Lucians. And then Nico's help will get them to Lucian 3.
Lucian.
Did get nerfed, but still good enough to at least win the last round. Jose took a big hit as well, so Ciula is now in first place. Gangley went 8th.
After getting the Nocturne 3. Gets Nocturne 3 and then loses.
Had to be just positioning there.
Had to be positioning, or maybe there is an Aphelios comp somewhere, or it could have been the Karma comp, actually, to be honest with you as well. So, again, that random targeting can take you down at tier 3. The Giant Slayer is going to be affecting that Nocturne, and here it is. It's going to be Gooba, and that Trap Claw, along with the Teemo, too, is going to make any auto attack-based unit a lot harder. And there's that random targeting again, almost takes down the Lucian immediately, but the Lucian gets better aim this time around, and now it's time for Lucian to take down the whole team, which they can, but they could get crueled at the end of the day, which actually might. My
Daisy.
goodness. Daisy is going to make it so the cruel doesn't work. If those units were flopped in hexes, we would have seen our first cruel of the day.
Yep. Secret Agent Daisy being like, I'll protect you, Teemo. Teemo's like, no, I don't need you here. I need you
Let me die!
Yeah.
I need to feast on souls. Second Karma. This one just a little bit more on the supportive end.
Yeah.
With the Garen in the front line, though, that should be very nice.
Yeah. The Blue Blessing did go onto a Vel'Koz from this. I was saying it could be a Karma, probably not. You wouldn't get a lot of value out of it. But it was actually, I believe, Robin Songs the other day, a couple days ago, talking about the fact that he thinks that Blue Blessing or Blue Buff Vel'Koz is actually a very fine thing to do. Nice little move there at the end by Dawnglade, positions them both away from the Viego and into hitting the Ukshan and the Draven. Love to see players kind of utilize that, but Thresh.
All right, and we've got some merry-go-round shenanigans. Okay. Vel'Koz deciding to go into the middle of the map, going to aim behind him, and then take the loss. Man, this pathing has been a little hilarious. It was the threshold hook, but it's still weird to see the Vel'Koz just turn around real quick. Vel'Koz with a Jeweled Gauntlet on the board. Dawnglade, though, is probably going to go with a little bit more utility, as Gooba does the same thing. And this is where Karma is going to start falling off. This is where just like the other carries just get better.
Definitely. The front line for Dawnglade, honestly, isn't that great. We're sitting on a Rel 1, Garen 1, Ivern 1. Fiddle, sure, but, I mean, can't really make a solo Fiddle front line. Here's the Rel upgrade. That is a big one. Getting these Rel ultimates off to not only CC the front line, enemy front line, but to protect the Vel'Koz and give him shielding is absolutely pivotal.
Totally agree. Frozen Heart newly nerfed. Thanks, Diana. And Fiddlesticks specifically. Thank you too. But this Lucian, I think, is going to be Lucian 3 now. Siula does find that Lucian 3,
Hey.
like you said, and it has already been winning most of these lobbies. Double Trap Claw on the Syndra to keep the Teemo and or the Karma safe.
You know, I said the phrase before, sometimes you play the game, sometimes the game just plays itself. Seems like that happened for Siula with all those Lucians that came their way. Donglade fighting for survival though, and the Vel'Koz gets the heal off, gets the cast off at 1 HP, heals up with the Gunblade, and survives. Brings Gooba down to single-digit HP. But Gooba does find the Garen upgrade. That's a big one.
That's a
How far can
huge
his Karma
one.
comp go?
A Garen upgrade is a Karma upgrade, right? So
Yeah.
we get the Morellos on. I gotta remember that works on Garen.
It's pretty common, I would say, for comps that actually utilize Garen, which aren't that many besides for Kayle
Yeah,
ones.
it's just one of those examples of an item you would never build on Summoner's Rift on this unit.
Oh yeah,
Right? That is pretty good on the Convergence, as the ZZ Rut Thornmail is going to be really good against this Draven, for example.
Let's see it. Karma targeting.
Oh!
Gonna be into the Diana though. Oh, Diana gets thrown away. Syndra, the best peeler in the game. This is just Karma cleaning up.
Yep, Karma's just going to clean up. Random targeting for the win. Getting to the carries in the back line. Vel'Koz losing the staring contest there against Viego. We have a top 4.
Donglade taking out Arakawa. Once again making it into the top 4. Jose as well. But who's going to be the one to take down Lucian 3? Will it be anybody? To be honest, I don't know if it will be. Maybe a Viego can, can deal with it. Viego did get nerfed at tier 1. He is a bit better at tier 2, though.
Yeah, not this Viego. Not right now. Sorry, man. Ooh, we get some money. Let's see what this... I didn't quite see the item. Rage Blade.
Rage Blade. Not a... I mean, I guess Teemo.
Yeah.
Or honestly, there is argument to put on the Syndra. Yeah, be able to peel more if something gets thrown away and then she ramps that attack speed, gets to peel for the Karma more. Might even actually
Gooba trying to go for
enough.
Karma 3 in like the one lobby where you will find another Karma. So weird. But the Karma is now gone, so we're not going to be able to do it, though. It did seem like an okay option in the past. Awful items for... Actually, no. We'll see if this Ivern actually going to be good against our friends. If Daisy's going to get any help from these items.
Oh, the Syndra needs to throw away. Oh, okay. Viego actually gets stunned out there, but takes out the Karma. Garen now being the sole damage dealer. I guess there's a Teemo as well as the Ivern with the Rune and Giant Slayer. Actually, is doing damage.
Wait. Oh, bring the damage chart back up, man. I think he was like 3rd or 4th. Anyway,
yeah, around there.
Around there. Okay, this is better. That's a good kind of setup for our friend Ivern. We do get the tier 2 renewer with the Soraka in the bag, along with getting an extra Dawnbringer too.
Uba still didn't put the Rage Blade on. Didn't really need to.
I think it's Syndra, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, there's arguments for both. I think versus the backline kind of AD carry compositions, reducing their attack speed with Teemo, and having more of those shrooms, maybe another cast is going to be super good. It seems there's no assassins or anything left in the lobby. A little bit less. Oh man, this Lucian is just tearing through everything Gooba has to offer. Maybe, depending on what Jose is dealing with and the Ghost. And okay, Jose's dealing with Gooba's Ghost. Trying to, at least.
Oh!
Akshan does it.
Okay, alright.
Jose
so it is not a double elimination just yet. 1 HP. Jose will bring it towards this Lucian once again with the Fist of Fairness, the Hand of Justice. Eventually, he's just going to be able to Thanos snap his... His hands are so powerful.
I know,
and
right?
the Giant Slayer as well.
That was almost a double elim at 6-2. It would have been a very, very fast game.
I mean, we've had a Lucian 2 for 6 or 7 rounds now, right? Which is kind of Lucian 3, which is insane, right? A lot of times you see those 4 costs get locked in now, right? Because like we're at the very late game and that's going to help you win the 1v1. But to have that Lucian locked in so early is pretty nuts, especially with the Giant Slayer against this team should do just fine.
Diego getting stuck on the Nautilus and just
Oh,
quickly
so
taken
much
out
damage.
by the Lucian. I mean, Akshan can only do so much. Maybe getting behind Lucian here, but there's just not going to be enough units, not going to be enough time. Jose gets taken out. Ciula goes from 8th to 1st very convincingly with the Lucian 3.
The run back there for Ciula watched most of that first lobby. I think was eliminated before chickens, and then ends up
Yeah.
running it back with the win on the next one in another very intriguing lobby. Some stuff happened there that was interesting, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because Ciula gets the win.
Some stuff did happen. Gangly going from a top placement to 8th place as well, even after hitting the Nocturne 3, Lucian 3 winning it all. We see, Karma and actually Draven popping up and not doing too bad. Let's take a look at the scores from the last 2 games at the halfway point. Harukawa Maki still with the round 1 first place, is in first overall with 16 points. Jose, no first yet, but still the consistency that Jose loves to bring. 15 points. Uba in third with 13. Ciula in fourth with 11. And then Gangly, Shining Star, Donglade, and Lucan down the line. Still potentially could be anyone's game. No one's, double 8th back-to-back or anything like that. And Harukawa has not double first, but still a sizable, I would say, gap between, the top 3 and the rest.
I agree. And whenever you get 2 top 4s in a row, the standings will always look like that. 3 top 4s is usually enough to finish in the top 4 on the day. So if you're someone like Gangly, you've got at least you are playing kind of like a 1st or 8th type of composition. I think that's going to help you out. Maybe you'll do the Jose Paulo run back, like specifically. This is exactly how it happened. So our assassin player still has the ability to come right back, but we won't find out until after the break.
That is true. We'll be going on a short break, but don't go anywhere. In just a few minutes, we will be back with more Fight Night Rising brought to you by Wisdom. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fight Night Rising, brought to you by Wisdom. Still, Khroen and Boopasaurusrex here, bringing you this Fight Night Rising action. 2 games down and 2 left to go, and a couple things are a bit different tonight. One, of course, being the new patch 11.18. Some interesting stuff being seen. We saw Draven last game. I want to talk about that a bit later. But then also, too, I think the biggest change is Jose has given up the Nocturne that we are so used to seeing here, and instead has pass the torch onto Gangly and seeing how well Gangly can run with it from there. And it was pretty solid game 1. Game 2, not so much, but
No.
in Jose fashion, can go 8th and then just go first back to back to claim the title. So we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, definition of first or eighth at this point, and I think assassins should always be the definition of first or eighth. To be completely honest with you, I think that's when they're doing the best.
Yep.
When they're too strong, I think that's honestly when the game gets really rough for me. Is like when burst damage gets too good, and so the assassins do seem to be getting tamed today. Is that because someone else is playing it? I don't know. They are playing it incredibly differently, though. Gangly taking a lot more caution to the wind when it comes to this comp versus Jose, who I swear might literally leave his computer for the first 5 rounds until the first carousel. So a lot of things can happen. Gangly does get the glove, though. True. And we're off to the races once again.
Ooh, Sela getting a cloak, definitely not the best of starts, kind of universally. While cloak is still not quite as bad as it traditionally has been in the past, there's the D-Claw slam that actually I think in this meta would be a bit more warranted than in the recent past. D-Claw going to, of course, do well against the Vel'Koz, and now even maybe Karma compositions that are popping up. Karma didn't quite do, I would say, as well as I was hoping, but it still did very solid. I believe it did actually get third, right? There was Gooba running it, so yes, it did get third. I think it could have gotten maybe a top 2, but yeah, go ahead.
This is what I wanted to mention here, right? If you've seen a Karma comp, right? Because we had a Karma comp in the first lobby, I believe, but the second one was when it was a lot more expressive, if you will, and the Karma got third. And if you're able to top 4 with the comp that's uncontested, you're probably going to come back next week. So I was thinking, right, that I might play Karma for these next 2 lobbies because the results are better than usual, at least in this lobby, right? And with these 8 players, because in tournaments, the 8 players you have are what, kind of defines the meta of your tournament.
Yep.
But we'll see what the future holds, like we always say, right? Other than the fact I've been thoroughly enjoying watching Jose play things that aren't assassins, because it's cool to see that they had that look, right? They're not eating mac and cheese every day of the week.
Yeah, definitely not. We get to see actually how talented of a player they are, honestly, and that's really, really cool to see. And goes to show you, like, there's a lot of different styles. Kind of reinforces the idea of there's a lot of different styles that you can bring to TFT as a competitive player or as any player and be successful with a plethora of them.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of styles, I believe 2 of the 4 EU representatives click by XP and refresh.
True.
So like you can do it, right? If you don't want to use hotkeys, well, 50% of EU isn't using them either at World Championships. So,
there you go.
If you need an excuse, like, don't let anyone tell you how to play a game, right? Play, the meta most of the time, right? But this is one of the few games where if you troll, the only person you're really affecting is you, right? So go with your, heart desires. Lose 200 LP playing 6 Spellweavers because you're trying to force 6 Spellweavers for some reason. True. If you want to do that, then do it. Fun is fun.
You know what, actually, you mentioning that clicking reminded me, sometimes when I'm like rolling down, because I do, like, I press D, I don't click, I'm like running around my little legend, and it actually disorients me because I'm like clicking around the board while I'm trying to like roll and then like go and then buy the units. So I'm just like, why did I start doing this? When did I start doing this? Like, let me just station my little legend, say, like, in the same spot and just not click anywhere.
Yeah.
So I can actually dedicate that. Like, it would be more efficient for me in that scenario to click the refresh button with my mouse. So I would stop moving around like a crazy person.
Also, Riot, here's $1 million game idea: an idle game with little legends. You're welcome.
Oh,
Right.
You've
You're
actually,
welcome.
I'm pretty sure you've cracked some kind of code right there with
I know. I would absolutely love like an idler game or even just like a clicking game when it comes to Little Legends. I think it's perfect. Anyway, hopefully someone heard me. That's important, and we'll
I'll
make
make
it
sure
one
they,
day.
they did, if not for right now.
Yeah.
Later, later.
Someone has dollar sign eyes like in a cartoon as we speak. But it's going to be the Yasuo here, who, in my opinion, has taken the handle of best early game unit right now with an item. So
Yeah.
RFC or the Jeweled Gauntlet has been the item of choice, and the Yasuos have not lost in these, round twos and early round threes.
Yep, especially benefiting from both Nightbringer and Legionnaire. Lee Sin also really, really good early game unit. Callista can be something else. Honestly, arguably, the Callista would be better off replaced by a Thresh right now. But Lucan identifies that, hey, there's 10 gold on my bench with the one that I already have, in my little econ pool. So going to still try to make this one work. Swapping sides so many times. Landing
No
on the right
lifeguard on
side, though.
duty. Oh, where are all of our beach boards?
Oh, we
I
don't
don't
have
think a
any?
single person has a beach board today.
I actually don't even look at the boards that people have. My brain ignores it.
It's just extra pixels.
Yeah.
I love spending money on pixels personally. uh,
Tempting.
oh, interesting. The Ziggs didn't take a lot of that follow-up damage.
No.
I don't know if it actually hit. It is the residual damage left over, so maybe there wasn't a lot of damage left over.
Looks like
But
that was the case.
92 HP is going to be really fun for our friends. Who's going to win the tiebreaker? It looks like Dogblade and Lucan.
A spat right in front of Gangly. Here we go. All right, it's already looking more like a potential first at this point. Of course, as we remember, game number 1 was all spatulas opening carousel. Gangly was able to get an assassin emblem. I don't believe last game Gangly was able to get an assassin emblem, and it is with that the assassin composition, spikes so much in power to where you're able to contest those lobby wins. I mean, without it, Gangly couldn't even stabilize, let alone contest the first.
Well, the second lobby was crazy too, because you see a Nocturne 3 get popped up on the side there, right? You're like, okay, Nocturne's here, right? This is the part of the game we're in, and then it lost. And we still don't know exactly
what
it lost to.
I did take a look at that actually during the break, and it was to a skirmisher board. It was the Shining Stars skirmisher Jax kind of Knights board, and Nocturne was on the wrong side, did not jump into the Jax, and got taken out eventually, just with having to get through all the tankiness and get through the Radiant Frozen Heart. So positioning diff, and into Ironclads as well, of course, because Ironclads are on that board.
Okay. Man, seeing these frontlining knights it's funny to me sometimes, like just seeing Nocturne trying so hard to attack as fast as he can with that anchor and just unable to do it and just gets frustrated and ults, right? That's what I feel like happens. But there's a lot of gold though for Gooba. You want to be at around 30 if you're not investing right now. But of course, you're trying to get to 50 as soon as possible. But when you it looks like we won the first 3 rounds and then lost this round. So that's going to make it a little bit more complicated, but our econ's okay.
Yeah, Gooba's rerolling Vayne, it looks like right now. I mean, Rageblade Runead's perfect for it. Getting say if the Radiant items like a Radiant Jeweled Gauntlet, that would be like super ideal in this position. Gooba does need to land on couple more Vaynes if we were to consider, honestly, maybe hyper rolling. People generally started slow rolling nowadays, but if you have like 5 or 6 Vaynes after Krugs, you can justify hyper rolling at that point, get the Vayne 3 and then go push level 8, and that's that's a top comp.
For sure, right? Again, like if you don't have to go by the book all the time, right? If you do, you're inevitably going to lose a couple times. Because some games require you to get off page, right? And I think when it comes to games like this, where you're going to be running something that has been good in the past, right? Vayne got nerfed in a B patch, I believe, not too long ago, when it comes to
like 5
this, particular setup. But the faster you get that advantage, right, the more HP you take from the rest of the lobby. If you're slow rolling and you take 4 to 5 rounds to actually get there, that's 4 to 5 rounds that you might have gotten complete wipes in terms of your rounds, right? And that sets
Yeah.
you up for the late game really, really well. And that's just not going to happen if you don't take that advantage. And you have to make that decision, right? So you have 6 veins and 30 gold, right? At this, same point, we have 5 veins here. What is the play? What do you do? As it is going to be part of that jeweled gauntlet, but we're going to wait for that radiant item specifically. 50 gold too means that I want to see him roll.
Yeah, at least roll a little bit, right? Like you don't have to fully roll, but if you roll down to like 50 and find another 1 or 2 veins, like yeah, it would be real tempted. And let's see what these couple rolls bring. They do bring a couple of Hekrams and actually the MF pair as well, which is not bad. All right, I think we stop right now with the Hekram too. No Thresh is awkward because you can't get the 4 Forgotten. Still okay though. Oh, we're actually rolling a bit more. At least down to 40 it looked like there.
Yeah, I think that is good enough. And then we're going to go ahead and level up because we're done rolling and we're not looking for the vein. And we do have enough to get back up to 40 if we win. Yep. So fingers crossed for
that's a
fans out there.
Though.
We need to win. Yeah, you're right. That is a Vel'Koz with some good items,
oh.
But some awful eyes, apparently. Needs to go to the eye doctor. I would be straight up upset if I was Dawnglade at that point in time.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. It's like, okay, perfect positioning for being into this vein, and then their enemy front line gets a little bit too far forward. Vel'Koz is like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to be there already. I can't hit the vein.
Oh no! I wonder what was over there. Doing a little bit of rubbernecking.
Yeah, it was like Nautilus like walked so far forward because the Kled, I believe, like dismounted, and so the Nautilus just walked forward at that point because nothing to target. That was in the front line.
Okay, so we're over at Dawnglade. We get the first-person view this time around. We're gonna be hoping for some abominations. There we go. We get our 3 A-bombs, and so this is our tentacled friend with our muscular friend on the board right now.
Here we go. Even
I'm not talking about you and me, Khroen.
No. Definitely not. But we are going to have the Abomination board, of course. And Sunfire going on the Callista, saving a slot for the Nunu to have a bit of a tankier item, frontlining the Callista so that the A-bomb will come out a little bit faster. Vel'Koz still doesn't have the front line to support him.
Oh, it's a wipe.
Casts off. Yeah,
complete wipe.
5-0.
And Harakala having a game.
Definitely.
Kind of a day so far. One of 2 players, I believe, that have top 4 in both lobbies. Jose being the other.
Yeah. Well, actually, Gooba has as well. Got 4th.
Oh,
and
Gooba.
3rd.
That's right, with the Karma. And so Gooba was our Karma player. So that's someone who I might see run back a Karma if you have those items. But this is where you're kind of like, I should be winning. I've got a Vel'Koz. But the rest of the lobby seems to be pretty strong right now. A bunch of tier 2 units will take down a tier 1 4 unit this early, right? And that just seems to be the name of the game right now.
Yeah.
Just Vel'Koz a little too skinny at the current time.
Oh, they're even just Lucan with like a Yasuo 2 at this point. Yasuo 2 at 3-3. Oh, and speak of the devil, and you run into it. Cast your curse, I guess a little bit there, unfortunately.
This is that race I was talking about, right? Yeah. Like with the Yasuo, if you're able to hit that Yasuo too early, this turns into, instead of losing by 1 unit potentially, right, you lose by 3, and that will add up throughout the whole lobby. That's why when you saw Gangly running it back, the lobby actually ended up going faster because of it.
Indeed it did. Speaking of fast lobby, look at Gangly's HP right now. Boop is down to 25.
This is a little bit more Jose-esque, right? Someone already has the Steamy, and so he has the context. We're going to need to wait 1 more round, but what this means is that we probably lose the next round, and we might lose the one after that too. So there's a possibility Gangly doesn't make it to chickens.
Yeah, I might need to see Gangly's stabilization point, because it might be right now, to be honest. With 25 HP, yeah, probably going to 7, probably trying to roll for that Nocturne too. Let's see if he ends up getting it. Jose's board features just some Draconics, as well as preserving HP. And it's always nice when we're able to play Draconics, but also just not like into away all your HP.
There isn't a that was the first Nocturne.
Wow.
That Gangly saw. So that is why these things have happened. It is Assassin Ash. So we haven't even found the Fiddlesticks.
Okay.
We do get the Nocturne. So this is going to be a bit of a stabilization. Put it on Gragas because that's hilarious. Unfortunately, hilarious does not equal results. So
Yeah.
we're going to see it on the Lee Sin. And Assassin Lee Sin had a little bit of a moment to shine back in the day.
It definitely did. I remember it was very, very good for a time, and I mean, probably wasn't the necessary factor in winning this round, but still a good one. 5 sins on the board for Gangly. Doesn't quite need 5 of them. Need to see a Viego to reach the 6, but Gangly was denied the glove from the stage 3 carousel that we just saw. He wanted that for the last Whisper. Used 2 gloves for Thief's Glove, actually. It's going to be on the Nunu for now. Might end up getting punished for that decision a bit later on. He's not able to get a glove from either stage 4 Armory
He got
or
some glove.
carousel. Did
He got some
more
rascal
glove,
gloves.
more glove. Is he
Man,
gonna take ZZ Rod's oh please.
I would rather take the Rascal's glove.
Yeah, maybe even
or
Locket
the
of Targon Prime.
Oh, because it's changed.
It
Everyone gets a
is.
shield now. So
Everyone gets the bonus health. I
That's
believe
right.
it is. Yeah, it gets 200 bonus health, and the shield from the Locket is reduced by 200, which is honestly pretty good because it's going to be guaranteed value you're getting from the Locket. Whereas sometimes the shields would just, wouldn't
And then put
really
it on
wouldn't really do too
Diana.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Rascal's on to Diana. Good, really good rolls on that Diana, actually. So Diana should be able to get to the ultimate, and these are all some tier 1 units, and this should be another win for Gangly, especially since the Nocturne avoided the Vel'Koz, but the Thornmail, though.
Oh, Rose Thorn Vest. Yeah. It's probably going to be okay with the next cast from Diana here. Yeah, okay.
There
It
we
does enough
go.
damage with the Demon Slayer.
See, if we picked those other golden radiant items, we might not win that round, actually. So
That is very
because
true.
of these Rascal's gloves, right? Maybe that Warmog's value was definitely seen at that point in time, but I think the Rascal's
Agreed.
gloves doing a lot of work there. Another really great roll. Unfortunately, it's against Wolves.
Yeah. Deciding whether they want to keep the Nunu in or not. I mean,
I say
the
sell the
Dawnbringer is not going to be there because the Kha'Zix is taken out. Just yeah, should sell that one. Play 3
and
Sentinel. That's perfectly
I would
fine.
love to get that vest off of that Gragas and maybe even get a Titans onto the Nocturne if we don't have any. Ooh,
Nocturne.
3 Nocturne
We
and
take
Rage
those. We like
Blade.
that.
Yeah, we take those. That's an extra 3 gold. And the Ivern, we actually end up having about the same amount of gold we would have had at this point in time to roll down, about 10 less. So we need 4 more Nocturnes.
Yep. Definitely okay, Fiddle. Here we go. Get another a better assassin spat holder. Lee Sin, you are no more, Fiddle. That was our Sin spat overlord.
Fiddle can also run with a Thief's Gloves pretty well. Unfortunately, not going to be the case here because you have to get that Assassin Spat on. And Lucan at 92 HP, right? This is what winning a race looks like. Eventually, this Yasuo will not be enough, but the amount of HP differential at this point is already worth it, in my opinion. And we still might be able to take some wins, though, as you can tell, it is getting closer and closer to not being the case.
That is true. I mean, Gangly not having
that
enough.
new Ivern knockup is like hilarious to me.
It just like boop. Okay, done. Like it's so fast. It's so insane.
That's like about how high I go when I try to play basketball.
Oh boy, unlucky.
I've never been very good at jumping.
Yeah, so how's that Spartan race coming along?
It's not. So the roll on the Thieves' Gloves this time for Gragas, not Gragas, for the Gallia, not good. Decides to pass the Gallia 2, which would have actually changed up that Thieves' Gloves roll.
We could have reset that. Still can.
We aren't, because we are hyper-focusing on getting all of the units that we want in, even though they might not be best in board right now.
Yep.
Thieves' Gloves will end up going to Ivern or Pike.
Let's see. This Locket should go somewhere. Is he positioned for it? Okay. Locket not being slammed. TG does go onto Volley and actually gets a Morello, which is very, very nice. Reduces the healing of this Draven.
Ooh, double Gargoyle Stone Plate, too. Haven't seen that in a while. Someone been going shopping for some capes, is what that tells me.
Uh,
Unfortunately, when you get that many capes, your options are limited to
yeah.
like that and Bloodthirster and QSS, right?
Yeah, I mean, Gargo's.
Declaw.
Yeah, Gargo's is, I mean, good last patch. Very, very good. Players would be super happy for that. Maybe not so much now, now that it has been nerfed. But still, I mean, you got the items. Like, what else are you going to do, right? Like you were saying, could, Bramble Declaw, but not always the most effective. That's still a vein, too.
Still a vein 2, you are correct. We should have rolled harder. We should have
Should
hyper
hyper
rolled,
rolled.
yeah, we should have donkey rolled. That's what, not even hyper, just donkey roll to the bagel, right? Right to the big 0. Oh, Gooba though, Nautilus 3 on
Yeah.
accident. It looks like it. So what's really funny about this is I remember when we were on. Okay, where did that Nautilus go? I remember when we were on that POV, we actually almost sold that Nautilus.
Yeah.
And we kept it around, and it ends up soaking just enough damage. Double Hurricane, one with the Radiant Blessing on the vein. I'll never forget the first time I was taken down by a triple Runin's vein at the peak of her. Yeah, at the peak of her career. The mechanics were nuts. As Gangly gonna take a long road to nowhere right now, thinking about it. Decides to go with the tier, gives away the bow. Whenever I see a player with that little intention, that scares me.
Definitely. It seems like Gangly's definitely like, what am I doing again? Like,
yeah, that's exactly what
the plan
that looked
just isn't
like.
there. Like,
yeah, the mouse movement was
Yep.
It was exactly what it was. As this comp now finally starting to fall off. One loss, and it was a pretty big wipe. 85 gold though, which means that we can actually be pretty patient. Still, we have a 23 HP advantage. Someone just bought a Teemo, so it's going to be even bigger against Sula. But I mean, yeah, like we leveled up there really early, which means that by the time we get to 5-1, we're going to be back at 50 gold anyway, and we can potentially pivot away from that.
It was interesting. I was looking at the side there to see the unit upgrades, and Harukawa hit Aphelios too. And I'm looking at this board like, wait a minute, there's no Aphelios on the board. That's because he's chilling on the bench. This is just Kale now. All Kale all the time, and Kale looking to be good enough to take out this Yasuo. Will do so. Lee Sin goes next. So Lucan is starting to bleed, as you mentioned. This comp has been a bit outscaled, even though going 8, but we have 50 gold, right? Like this is still going to be fantastic. Maybe going to pivot this into a Jax if 3 Jaxes are found. I think that's probably the most viable option. Well, we'll see
well,
though.
When you're running these big frontlining knights, right? I think number 1 is Kale, number 2 is Jax, number 3 is like Vel'Koz or something. You could run that 4-knight frontline with any carry, really. It's just Kale benefits from that stall more than other carries do.
Yeah.
And so we're going to keep with the Yasuo here. We're not even picking up some of our other Yasuos to get a Yasuo 3 potential, but Jose might lose this. Based off of the units on their board running. It is looking like Dawnbringers right now.
Yeah, reroll Dawnbringers.
Yeah, which is something that we don't normally see, but it's in a pretty comfortable position in the leaderboard right now. So might be feeling that as Gangly down to 9 HP. We make it to chickens, and hopefully Colonel Sanders has something special planned for Gangly.
Yeah, hopefully. All this chicken, you would hope there's something good in there. Another TG
Look at
from
all
the blessing.
those chickens.
Yeah. I love that video. It's so good. It's so old now,
so
too, actually.
cute.
It's been around for so long.
I wonder what that girl's doing. How funny would it be if she's like on a farm now raising chickens?
Yeah, right? That would be... There's no way, right? That'd be way too specific. Like,
I know. Too on the nose.
I know.
But we're gonna...
maybe
I think we're probably going to move the Yasuo items onto Aphelios, it seems like, is the direction we're going. Maybe we just keep the Yasuo items and get Yasuo 3.
With that belt, though, it'd be super awkward if Aphelios not having, Rage Blade or any real, like, attack damage items. RFC not going to be great on him. Hodge and, Titans or the Radiant Titans, you can get away with. I think it looks like it potentially wants to either be Yasuo, and with that, too, a double Yasuo shop. Looking a lot more likely. Lucan does pick that up. Very much screaming the fact that he wants Yasuo 3.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but 3 players tier 3 units
Yep.
at that point in time. Oh, Jose actually gets
Jose.
2 tier 3s. Rakan and Irelia. Tier 3 Vayne happened this last round as well. So Gooba can finally get out of level 6. Thank goodness for him. That almost happened just naturally.
Yeah, I
And
know.
we probably win this round too, even though it is a really, really good thresh ult. The reason why Vayne is so good is true damage, right? You can have as much damage mitigation as you want, but if that third silver bolt pierces you, then it doesn't matter how much thorn mails or declaws you have.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time and Rageblade ramping before Vayne will kill you and will kill all the units, the whole team. Gangly goes back to back 8th. Really, really unfortunate there. It was shaping up to look like to be a really good Gangly game. I mean, 25 HP was scary, but the spat, the stabilization potential was there. Couldn't
Mhm.
quite do it though.
So we have a rerolled Nidalee comp right now.
Yeah.
Rerolled the Rakan and the Irelia too. The tier 3 Rakan though is what is gonna really be terrifying to a lot of other people because that is a tier 3 unit, right? And it took me about 2 weeks to realize that Rakan's ult did damage when the set when he first came out. But now with tier 3 and the healing, it's a ton of healing. This basically means that healing mitigation is required at this point in time. You either take down the Rakan who has that Dragon's Claw, or it's just way too much health. As you see, the Galio almost gets healed back to full, gets an ult off because of it. But if there's going to be a comp that's going to be able to break through, it's going to be a Giant Slayer Vel'Koz. But
Wow.
Nidalee jumps right on. Dawnblade loses to the Dawnbringers of Jose.
There you go. That Ginsu's Reckoning, the Radiant Ginsu's actually providing I think a lot for an Italy. You wouldn't actually usually expect to see that item on her, but it makes sense. She did 6k damage in that fight, kind of doubling second places there. Jose very much leading into this. Nidalee must be the carry. The QSS protects her, as well as the Dawnbringer giving her the HP. She's allowed the time. She's allowed the space to deal all the damage. Jose, second in lobby HP. Once again, we're in a lobby where the HPs are so very close as we're like middle of the way through stage 5.
Yeah. Okay. Kale on the other side. No Giant Slayers, though. And these are pretty beefy frontliners for Jose. Doesn't matter because Gwen steals stats, friends. So if the Kale starts getting that AoE stuff going, here we go. That HP does start to diminish. The healing mitigation was there, but it's just too much to go through. As Rakan finishes with full health once again. And I wonder if those ults weren't there, if things were going to be a little different. Tier 3 Rakan is like one of my pocket pick units, if that makes sense.
Definitely one that's if you get it, like it's gonna be having value, especially with the 3 items
Yeah.
that Jose has here.
3 great items for
Yeah,
that
super
for
tanky
that unit. Yeah.
and actually, he's gonna be ulting more than once a fight, so Archangel's gonna get value.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it's going to be even more healing, for example. But the Giant Slayers are going to be what I think takes them down. As Siula double fisting some cups there.
yeah.
And coming right back has had quite the day of games today. 8th place in the first lobby, won the second lobby. So if averages do maintain, we should get 4th in this one. Curious to see if that's going to happen. As
Maybe. Are you
Harukawa
Prophet?
gets killed too.
Let's see, another Draven board. Zephyr on the bench as well. Can maybe consider cycling this back and forth if we, put on something like maybe an Aatrox. If it's an Aatrox, it will just Zephyr the Soraka. We'll put on Nautilus and do the same thing anyway. Probably didn't even need to use it there, honestly. Could have just waited until next round.
Yeah, we were probably gonna struggle against it anyway. God, that healing from the Rakan. Just everyone
So big.
finishing with full health, pretty much. That's nuts. Sila loses one more time. Lucan now having a hard time staying on top. It's Jose with that reroll Dawnbringer comp, finding power within units that don't normally have it in these lobbies. Really starting off strong. Double Zephyr now, this time because of the Thief's Gloves roll. And then the bottom 4 right now, other than Dawnglade, separated by 2 HP.
Oh wow, yeah, that is is true. Ciula? I'm surprised that Ciula was able to go to level 9 this heavily. I guess this quickly with having the Draven. The Draven carried him for a long time. Harukawa has hit not only the Gwen 2, but Kale 2 now as well. Hard to think that this Draven can tear through all of this comp and get to the Kale before she ascends fully.
Can he even get through the Rel? Okay, we do get
Yeah.
one, and we're starting to ramp up, right? 60 on that Deathblade, 70 now, and with the Titans, that actually delayed pretty well. Oh, so
Oh,
close.
killed enough
Thank
though.
goodness we got that last kill, because that would have taken us out of the top 4. That's how close this lobby is. A Shining Star going to fall to 2 HP. 18 in second, 1 in sixth. It doesn't really get closer than this, friends, and everyone looking up at Jose, which is familiar, but not in this style.
I think this is very interesting. I actually want to bring up a point right now. I think that I want to make the argument that Jose Paulo, amongst usual, Fight Night competitors, while Fight Night competitors are all masters and above, Jose is a significant cut above a lot of them. Like there's a difference between like high challenger players and even like low challenger players, right? And a lot of these games that Jose is playing, it feels like he is just getting these advantages off of recognizing the game state, scouting well, assessing his spots. And we see that, of course, when he's playing flexibly, but then the late game positioning. There's players like we saw Gangly falling now. I'm not sure if this loss in 8th place was due to positioning, but the last game was. Jose is going to make these mistakes way, way less than a lot of other players that we see. And I think that's why Jose can be so consistent. And again, especially because playing flexibly, he's not just relying on Nocturne to bail him out every single time.
Well, and something that is kind of nice about going 20 for 20 on a particular team comp is that you can focus on other things, right? You know you're going to be running Nocturne, so you can focus on things like scouting, for example.
Yeah.
And being good at scouting is what you have to do in order to be an assassin player. That's, I think, the great separator, as this Dawnbringer comp is looking insane. If either one of these, if 2 of those 3 were tier 3'd, we probably are in the same situation. But the fact that all 3 of them are
Yeah.
is pretty nuts, and they're not even suffering that much HP loss, right? Seeing at the HP totals at the end of the round, they're all almost full still.
Yeah, not at all. Oh, Morella's, hey, you know where it's gonna go? It's gonna go at the Garen. More reminders to do that in the future. Also, 2
Yeah.
Rivens off of Riven 3. Add another 3-star to the pool here. Oh, speaking of 3-stars added to the pool, Lucan does hit the Yasuo with 3. Is already top 4, but maybe can get at least a second tier.
Yep.
Hard to think they can
Started
beat
falling
Jose
behind.
though.
Yeah, the race was won by Lucan, and thank goodness, because we needed every advantage to get into that top 4, because Yasuo ended up stalling out there at the end of the day. But this is a pretty usual kind of spread outside of the Dawnbringers. We've got a Vel'Koz comp, we've got a Kale comp, and then we've got this Dawnbringer comp.
Dawnbringers did reposition into Harukawa. Kale maybe gonna get stuck on the Rakan and Irelia for super long. Nidalee
Especially
jumps
if
and gets stuck on the
the
front line as well.
Rakan gets those ults off. Oh,
Oh,
look at how much healing that is,
it's
man.
insane.
Yeah,
And it
and
allowed the time for Nidalee to just take out the Kale.
exactly. It's the Rakan, guys.
The Rakan
The
too.
Rakan is the secret. That's why I like calling him a pocket pick. It's like you said, it's not required. You could probably win with this comp without him, right? But because you have him, it's something that I like to talk about as like a win more type of situation. It's like instead of just one cherry on top, you've got like 17. You're eating too much Halloween candy at this point. There's like so much available to you, because all you need to do is make sure that the healing is there.
True. Boop, weren't these 3-cost 3-star units nerfed? Isn't this the point so that we don't see them go up against each other back to back in the top 2? I was at the Dawnbringers, Lucan with the Yasuo. I thought this is what Mortdog and the team tried to avoid.
Specifically.
Yes, specifically like these comps were nerfed with this in mind.
It was these exact units that were
But here we are
nerfed.
anyway.
But here we are. True damage is going to be the name of the game here. That's going to be better. That's how you get through these units. And we're going to be here for at least another round. We're not going to make it to round 7 unless Jose is able to mitigate some of these damage losses. But that Yasuo 3 is going to be tough to get through.
See what the item of choice is going to be. I don't remember if Jose... Okay, does have one component available on Riven, I believe. It is the glove, but still 2 Rivens away. Hodge not going to be amazing. Does just want to go Shojin's instead. One more
Oh.
Riven. Couple rolls to get there. One more.
Yep.
Don't hit it.
Unfortunato for Jose. We don't get much stronger at all, or even, I think, at all. And so we're going to reposition. Once again, we got to keep our Rakan safe. Because the Yasuo will be able to break through that Rakan. That is how you do it.
Yep. Really wants to protect the Nidalee. If the Yasuo gets on Nidalee early on enough in the fight, it's just going to go the exact same way it did last time around. Yasuo needs to get stuck on the units, but as we mentioned, does have true damage. He's going to rip through them very, very quickly.
Heal is going to save the Riven, it looks like. Oh, this is a lot closer, but it's going to be the Yasuo. Once again, so much damage, so much potential. And this is the last round.
It will be. Once again, not going to stage 7. Can Jose solve the puzzle that is positioning here? Sells the Riven. What are you looking for, actually? I'm curious.
Diana? I don't know.
Just a Galio 2 upgrade.
Yeah, another Galio.
And swaps the GA over to the Garen. I mean, that's nice. More consistently, you'll be able to get that Morello's proc off. Lucan, though.
The Yasuo should take this. Unless Yasuo goes on a little bit of a journey. Like one of those solo trips through Europe. And even then, I think the Yasuo could come back and win that round. So, oh no, and the Nidalee is going to be right there.
Oh, maybe it's... No, I was going to say, maybe it's okay. No,
with
it's
the
definitely
RFC,
not.
That's not going to happen. So that's so funny. I said as a side comment, the RFC should scare away any Nidalee players.
Yeah,
and it didn't. And here it is. So the RFC, this is why RFC is good against Nidalee. All that dodge, all the advantage gets taken out of that character. And it's going to be Lucan, who has, I think, on 7th and 8th or 7th and 6th.
7th, 6th, yeah.
Yeah, so far, getting the lobby win on that one. It's been a crazy night of TFT.
It has. Not a moment too soon, right? Lucan needed that win. And let's check out the scores to see where that does place him. And it's going to be 4th. Lucan can still get into the top 3. With Jose Paulo, though, in first at 23 points. Tied with Harukawa, also 23 points. It will be hard for anybody to surpass both of them. One of them doable. Both of them definitely difficult. But then it goes...
However,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this 3rd place spot is wide open.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Especially if Lucan plays like they did last time. That was almost not okay, right? We were literally 1 round away from being eliminated for most of that because Yasuo stalled out. But if we got that Yasuo 3 earlier, that lobby probably ends at around like 6-4, right? Or 6-2 even. But that's not going to be the case. So it is going to be Jose in first place again. Shining Star, one of our returners from last week, is struggling a little bit. Played a lot of Kale, I believe, last time around. So, but the thing that I'm most impressed by so far has been Harukawa with the consistency, especially being able to 10, 6, and 7 this, almost solidifying them in the top 3 and potentially winning out the whole day.
Definitely, very, very much potential. I mean, Harukawa is now, one of the only 2 players out Jose to top 4 every single game tonight. It's not often where we see players actually top 4 all 4 games. That is another level of consistency that is so impressive and deserving of praise. And seeing Harukawa, being a newer face, I think it's very exciting and kind of revitalizing to see, because this is Fight Night Rising, right? This is where these players kind of get their start in the TFT competitive space, and it's so nice to see maybe potentially another name going to be thrown in with the list of greats. Maybe not right now, of course, but in a couple weeks if this consistency continues.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you're here for longer than 3 weeks, we will remember you. Right, yeah. That's when your name is like locked into our brains, and that's when the Nosters, the Pokegums, the Goobums, right?
Yeah,
they all kind of spent some time here at one point. Now they're off to Worlds.
True.
But the winner of our last lobbies, who we're starting off with right now, it's gonna be Lucan. and it's going to start off with the tier.
Yeah, tier start. Maybe AP does not have to be. Hodge can still be very flexible, but Luke can try to ride the momentum of last game. Start off with a couple of rough ones, then got the dub off the back of the Yasuo. Maybe reroll. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, speaking of 3 costs and rerolling, get offered a couple of them. Dawn
So,
side and the the night side.
I've got a question for you.
Sure.
When do you sell? So, like, if you get a bunch of 3-cost units like this, right? Say you end this next PVE round at like 8 gold. When do you sell those 3 costs? Does it depend on what comp you're playing, or just kind of like player preference? Like,
Oh,
what
it's
is
definitely player preference at this point because there's arguments for both. Some players would love to just fully win streak with that. Some players would be like, I already have a comp in mind. I'm playing Sins 20 out of 20. I'm selling everything. Like it's definitely a player pref diff at that point. Having though this specific opener of a Lee Sin and Nidalee, you can go a solid 3 skirms, have the Olaf potentially find that Aurelia, get that Sentinel skirm comp online. That's still a really, really good opener that this does open up for Lucan spot, which, again, arguments for both, but definitely one that I would strongly consider myself.
gets the Nikos? Oh man,
Interesting.
yep. Do you want to talk about that? In terms of like the evolution of Nikos at the beginning of the game?
True. I mean, it was always the standard Nico's 2 gold. It feels bad. Can't really make use of it. This time, it's not so doomed. There is only 2 items than Nico's. We already got dropped, of course, earlier. The Nidalee Lee Sin, and so they are, gold, but units in unit form. So not quite as doomed. If it was just 3 components, and then the Nico's into gold, would not be able to level up to 4 here. Or at least if they would not have a good board at all. It'd just be all 1 cost, basically. But now, Lucan's in the position, level 4, 3 Skirm, 2 Nightbringer, can still win streak even without slamming any components here, which is very, very nice start.
Gangly having the last whisper already. We know which direction that's going to be going
Yep.
in. And this is a high value early game comp. I mean, to have a 9-cost board right now is a lot of money. That's close to 10. And that's almost interest, right?
9 is close to 10.
Yeah, 9 is close to 10. It's a whole 1 away. If you, I used to educate the youth of America, just so you know.
That is true.
I know. Sorry. Sorry, everyone.
Oh, that's why we're doing. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. That's why things are happening. It's all my fault. But the bow on the Nidalee, in terms of components, right? Flat stats are good at the early game, so having some item components on units like this, say, I just got to keep it on the Nidalee for now. I know some people who might just sell it just to get it out, right? But if Nidalee is best on board, the bow's only going to help with that. So use it until you don't need it anymore, right? Like, I think what I'm talking about is a little bit like too much forethought, right? Oh, the bow's not going to land on the Nidalee later, so I'll just sell her now. When you just don't really have to.
That is true. You can't have too much forethought in TFT. You have to accurately assess, when is too soon, when is too late, when is the perfect time to transition, whether it be to get, units or items off of units, whether it be to pivot comps. There's so many factors as well. So I actually love that you bring that up because that's definitely something that players do wrong a lot of the time.
And I think that's one of those few common kind of high level mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? Is they make too many decisions too quickly. Right? It's they feel like they have more context than they actually do. And so that's where a lot of people get trapped. And so we're going to invest into this Nidalee. We already have the bow. That's gonna be Kale items. That's the goal, right? I think at this point, Harukawa has played Kale twice, so we can assume that that's gonna be the direction here.
Yeah, was it Kale twice, then the Aphelios 3, I believe, in
having
game
a
number
day,
1.
Having a day today. Kale 2 twice.
Wow. Being able to play an early game so consistently well to get to the point of Aphelios 3s and Kale 2s is something that, you can probably learn from going back and watching the VODs. Maybe it's a Robin Song situation where you're just high rolling early game. But, I mean, this doesn't look to be super high roll in this game, honestly, because it's not going to be any solid streak. It was a win and then a loss and then a win. The board's not fully upgraded. Sure, the Nidalee is, decent. She's going to be the item carrier. But if Harukawa is able to make something similar happen, it must be coming down to a lot of very intelligent play.
And I think that's a safe assumption, right? Because we don't have like the stats background like in a spectator mode,
Yeah,
right? So
one
we
day.
have to make these assumptions, and I think that it's a safe one, right? And that's TFT for you. You have to also make a lot of assumptions, right, without context, and
Yep.
kind of just cross your fingers, and that can be really frustrating for some people. But Jose right now rocking a Rage Blade Senna. Uh, Senna's weapon, I swear, does damage, friends, especially if you have some attack speed on it. But her ultimate will actually scale a lot better than her attack speed does. So if you want to have a little bit of fun with it, you can make her like a really bad Karma who's already bad, right?
Really
And then just
bad
make
karma.
just make
So
that
karma.
yeah, so and just make that be the thing. But it's gonna be Last Whisper,
Yeah.
Rage Blade. That Last Whisper actually is gonna help the Riven and the Irelia, in the Olaf in the front line.
True. Honestly, anybody, especially in the early game. I mean, shredding armor is shredding armor. Most of the damage is done by just auto attacks at this
Yep.
point in the game. I like the slam. This is looking like an Aphelios board a bit later on.
Yep.
So we'll see if it does live up to that potential. I guess if you have a Rage Blade, always can think about Kale. Always can think about some dual carry boards, or maybe even, dare I say, a Draven. We've seen it be okay today, but definitely not amazing.
Yeah, Draven is not doing as well as I anticipated today, as we could get to 20 gold, depending on how much we want to sacrifice. If we win, that's a lot easier choice. If we lose, that's going to be a little bit tougher.
We'll see. Selling a Riven pair doesn't feel the best if the loss does come through. Selling the Gragas pair plus the extra Senna would be a lot more forgivable.
Big if true.
Is big, is true.
Yeah, big is true. Remember, chat, PMA at all times.
Positive mental attitude. There we go.
Exactly.
Gotta throw up the tagline, make a graphic
your
for
boomer
it.
casters. Yeah. So, sorry, I just love seeing the damage that Senna does. Like, it'll have like this big crit animation. It'll be like 71.
Yeah, right.
112.
112. She's slapping there, actually.
Yeah, and if it happens enough, if you get 78 damage crits enough times, like, you're gonna win eventually. So it's not that big of a deal, but at the same time, it's nice to take note as Gangly hitting 62 HP. That's okay. Right now, Gooba at 76, our Vayne player from last game. I wonder if we're gonna run back on Karma instead. This lobby, a lot more traditional already than some of our other ones in terms of power level. It's tier 2 1-cost units and a little smattering of everything else.
Yeah, in terms of a lot of factors, I mean, no spats, no spat carousels to open up. A lot of middling HPs. No one win streaking at 100, things like that. Shining Star, the only player to be streaking. Either 3 or 4 there. Okay, a couple units. Maybe consider selling up to 30. Will do just that by selling Thrush +1. Holds on to the Callista. Not a bad start for Seula. Seula having a fantastic game too. Did not carry the momentum over very well though into game 3. Still is in contention for making it into the top 3 though. Gooba in third currently is at 17 points. Then Lucan at 15. Then Seula at 14. Shining Star at 13. Those players are all very close together. So this game is really, really important to see who comes back next week for all those players.
Yep. Oh man, I love what Seala's been able to do. I'm someone who gets really affected by if my first game goes poorly, the rest of my games will go poorly. Definitely in terms of my headspace, right? The first game kind of decides how well I'm going to do the whole day. Seala obviously not one of those kinds of players. And mad respect. I respect anybody who's able to run it back, let alone literally the very next lobby.
Yeah. Mental fortitude's hard.
In terms of performance psychology, that is very impressive. So mad props to our friend here. 20 gold. Ooh.
Karma. No karma items. I mean, Hodge, I guess, but not with the Rage Blade here.
If you try hard enough, anything can be a karma item. See, this is why you don't innovate enough.
I don't. I really don't. I am not an innovator. Innovation and me do not really go anywhere close to each other.
That's okay, because I represent the total opposite end
True.
of that
We balance each
line.
other out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, wait, this is mixed damage, Hodge, right?
Yeah, right.
Just to see, oh, this is why it's Morello's doesn't work on this team. Oh, it
Hey, a
happens.
lot of
I'm a
learning.
learn by experience type
Yeah.
of guy. This Ziggs, I'm a little surprised we haven't seen this opening since the start, because Ziggs is a unit deleter, especially in these early rounds. We saw the 6 Spellweaver Ziggs one shot a tier 2 Jax earlier, so
Yeah.
we know the power is there, especially with the hat and the blue buff. We didn't pick up the Karma, so we're probably going into Vel'Koz here and moving that direction. Interesting though, because I think that was all gold.
I don't actually. I believe it was.
Oh, it was a tome.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so
yeah.
gold
Gately
and a
already
tome.
getting that. The Radiant Blessing
Around
at 37
early.
HP, 3/3.
Yep.
It's gonna level
You
up
won
next
it
turn.
at 3/4.
Yeah, gonna level up next turn. Roll for the Nocturne too. Love getting here at this point. Get to see how much luck do you have. How many Nocturnes you gonna hit? How is that going to set the pace?
Yeah, and if y'all are wondering, this is actually a really great time to talk about it. The tome not being used because there are no assassins on the board.
Oh, true.
Right now, so keep the tome, right, until you have the comp that you're like gonna run, and then use the tome so you can get better draws from it.
I actually didn't notice there were literally 0 assassins on Gately's board right now, because it gives the tome gives 2 of the options from your last played board, but then 2 random ones. So wants to potentially get that Sin one in there.
Yeah, and so we don't have any assassins right
25
now.
HP again, exactly.
Yeah. I actually think, it doesn't feel like the assassin stuff is that predictable, but I actually think it's mad predictable, to be to be honest with you.
I was watching Jose the last however many weeks. It's like I could recite this kind of pacing in my sleep.
The two of us probably know assassins better than any other caster at this point in time. As Gangly taking off the hoodie, taking things seriously right now, doesn't want to get another 8th place, and we're starting to push forward. 63 gold. Here we go.
Levels up.
Oh,
Khroen actually on the first roll. That's
1%ed it. Still no Nocturnes.
Actually sells a Pike by mistake there.
Oh, there's the Nocturne. Now we can use the now we have to do a round and then use the tome.
Yep.
Is what we're looking at. And since we're at 25 HP, all level 1 units, we got a baby brigade on the board right now.
He's gonna put the items on Khroen? No, okay. He was considering. Already slamming a 3rd Nocturne item. Really, really does not want to see any Nocturne items get presented in the next shop, but rather more utility ones. He's gonna take more damage here. Needs to hit the Nocturne too. Use the tome. Like 13 HP is come on, like it's low even for Jose at this point.
It's enough though.
It is.
It is enough.
Everything to go right.
Exactly, and that can happen. And there was a Demon Slayer, so that could have gone on the Nocturne. It could still go on the Khroen. We could also make something for the Fiddlesticks or the Diana.
Blue Blessing. I mean, this might just go on the Diana.
A Diana ult is one that we like. In these games.
Another Khroen. What if we hit Khroen 2 before Nocturne 2?
No more Nocturnes.
No. Oh, Sin Emblem.
Oh, there it is. Okay, Assassin.
Yeah, I looked at the
Assassin
first two.
Khroen. Yeah, okay. Assassin Khroen. I would actually sell this Nocturne. Let's get another Nocturne. Get those items on the Khroen, and we're going to be feeling a little bit better. But this might be our last round.
What if, though? This Khroen 2 before Nocturne 2? I mean, it still could be. Unlikely to be the last round. I mean, this comp surely will take some units out, right? And it does. It's not going to win, but it does stay alive.
Okay. Don't do what I did. One time I put a Cav Spat on Khroen. That was stupid. He actually rolls into a unit with the Cav Spat, and it's like that's like the whole point of this unit is to not do that.
Yeah, to kite, grapple away.
Yeah, I was literally serving myself to those Sometimes, man, I make some interesting decisions. Thank goodness
True.
most of them are in game and not in real life.
Most keyword.
Most. Yeah, exactly. So
Oh
we're going
boy.
to put it on. We're going to keep the Akshan in. Once we get a tier 2 fiddle, we might think about it. But the Sentinel buff will remain, and that could be a game changer, potentially. But whenever you hear, folks at home, whenever you hear a caster use that tone of voice, it could do this. They don't believe what they're saying. So,
true.
We're just giving you options on what could happen, because if it does, that's a really big deal. We don't have any other opportunities,
Big.
right? We had a Diana 2 and 2 Akshans at 1% before we even tier 2'd our Nocturne. So things are looking a little bit better. We can win streak from here, especially with just the Nocturne and the Diana. But we're going to need a friendly matchup. Gangly might be going 8th once more, as we have a Draven on the bench. Double Hodge, another double Hodge itemization here for Shining Star. That was last time we saw that was on a Lucian, Lucian 3.
Now it's going to be on Yasuo. 4 Legionnaire being run. Interestingly enough, not going to be Nightbringer focused, but the upgrade from the Draven certainly is making it appealing. Gets through the Kha'Zix and still dealing damage. Draven, I mean, even no items, did half Yasuo's damage. That seems pretty worth to me.
Gangly won. So
fortunately. I mean, did hit Nocturne too. Did not hit Ivern though. That was the big thing. No Ivern yet.
Just 14 more rounds to go.
Yeah,
before you win the game. Could happen. I think you were with me when Jose was on fire at 7 HP going up against Yiggles and almost won. And remember, almost won that whole day if you won that round against Yiggles. So, and Yiggles ended up winning, and she ended up winning the whole night. But I bring it up because Akshan 2 actually gets taken there by Gangly, because 7 HP doesn't feel like a lot unless you're an assassin player. You only need 1 HP for an assassin player to win a game, right? That's how it works. As Lucan gonna get a tier 2 Kale. So there are already 2 tier 2 5-cost units on the board, and it's only 4-2 right now.
At 4-2, that's absolutely insane. What level is Lucan? I'll check in with Lucan a bit later. I would assume level 8 with that kind of luck, but we know Gangly's 7, so yeah, things can happen. Shining Star trying to protect this win streak.
Can indeed happen. See, my Lucians never target the enemy carry. Ever.
I don't gotta position better, Boop. I don't know what to say.
No matter where I position. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I should stop putting assassin spats on him.
Maybe. We've solved it. There we go.
Sold myself through the innovation, dude. Innovation. I was like, oh, he'll get the back line if he's in the back line.
Gangly actually did sell the Nocturne too. Oh my, what is happening?
This is for you, Jose. Oh,
this is, Gangly might say this is for Jose, but I don't know if Jose would ever do this. I don't know if it's really for Jose. It's like for Jose, but not,
Yeah. Gangly's already won the round.
Yeah, that was the fastest round I think I've ever seen, actually.
Yeah, so I mean, we're at level 7, and he's got a tier 2 Akshan assassin, and that's gonna kill most team comps until we get some other tier 2 units. I did mention selling that Nocturne earlier, and I hope. Some of my casting is like, what if? It's like, what if Germany won World War II? Yeah,
and it's that,
right.
That minute percentage that actually happens. You're like, wait a minute, we're living in that world right now.
Yeah,
right?
we are living in that world right now. It's gonna be the assassin Akshan comp that we've not seen ever. So, and this is a Kale 2 comp already. Yeah. I wonder what the items are. Oh, great!
At level 7 as well. Another level 7 player. What is happening?
Yeah, Gangly did not Nico. I don't know if Lucan had a Nikos.
Yeah, maybe.
So two.
I would assume so, honestly, but
just 2 raw tier 2 5-cost units at round. This was 4-3 for Lucan is actually insane. Unfortunately, are, well, not unfortunately for them, but what this means though is that the lobby is going to get really close if Gangly and Lucan continue to win.
Oh man, I have a Philios board on the other side, but it is just going to be a Philios 1 against Kale 2. I mean, we know who should be the victor there based off of those descriptions.
Yep. Every Thresh I've ever seen in TFT is better than any Thresh I've ever played with on the Rift. 100% hook accuracy.
True, actually can't miss.
Yeah, actually can't miss. Helps. See now, and especially like this is where people start positioning for certain people. So maybe we position for assassins, for example, but we quartered our Aphelios, which makes it so that Thresh can grab them. There's so much to think about.
There is. I mean, it's kind of like the Blitzcrank of old, right? Even though Thresh doesn't do it at the start of combat, you know, your carry is gonna get hooked. It's just a matter of time. Unless you have a Banshee's Claw, as Lucan does, protecting the Kale. But if something else breaks that shield, then you might be in trouble. No Threshes here, though, but it is a Karma comp.
Oh, he did run it back. All
Yeah.
right. Okay, this ended up not being a Vel'Koz. We kept that option open, but it seems like we weren't given that option. So Karma can beat Kale. You're seeing it right now. Tier 2 is going to be a lot better. That way that we can actually get enough damage onto Kale to heal through the Deathblade, which is already starting to happen. But you're... Oh my goodness,
Papali.
Lulu, so good. Lulu. Oh.
And to think she used to be even better than that.
Man.
Did get nerfed at some point. Lucan not liking that round. Would like to have win streaked out the rest of stage 4, especially with the Kale. Gangly is hanging on by a thread. I mean, one life's all you need as a Sin player, Boop. And we're putting that point to the test. I mean, we know it to be true, of course, but can it be true in this scenario is the question for Gangly.
Yeah, you know, it's a pretty crazy lobby when first place and last place are on fire.
True. Or in the middle, it's like, this is just their world. We're living in it. What am I going to do here?
Exactly. Like, you abide by our laws if you are in the middle of this fire sandwich right now. Shining Star hasn't really changed up anything so far. So going back to Lucan, seeing that some of these other comps haven't really changed explains why Gangly is on fire, right? The power levels haven't really changed except for Gangly, right? Because looking at this particular key team comp, it's been like this for a while, and we actually won our last round. So, you know, there's still a lot of power to be found for a lot of these players.
Definitely a lot of gold.
Karma is in first place right now too.
True. That's crazy.
In a lobby
When's the last time we've said that?
In a lobby of 2 5-cost tier 2s, right, at 1%, it's the Karma 1 that is winning the lobby right now.
It just got upgraded to the Karma 2 into this round. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep the win streak with that. Kale trying to deal with the Yasuo, but the shields from 6 Nightbringers are absolutely insane. Yasuo will have the damage to take out the Kale, and then subsequently the rest of the board. Looking kill one more. Okay, does kill one more. Might be impactful.
Quick little note: Bloodthirster shielding. Bloodthirster shielding is worse, like substantially worse now. From I think 20% has been taken off, and so you're not really going to get as much value. Shielding just, it seems like it's gotten a lot stronger just because of the Volibear nerf. You're going to have a little bit more of it, and so if you're going to make damage against shields harder, then Nightbringers inevitably will become better, and that's what we're seeing right now.
I wanted to have seen Shining Star slam some items into that round. It could have been a Gargo Stone Plate plus some Rellos on like the Lee Sin or something, but it will be a Zephyr plus a Locket. Not bad there. But this is Gangly trying to fight for survival yet again, and will be successful in doing so. Nocturne 2 comes back to the fray, and Gangly has double Assassin Emblem now as well, so I believe is running 6 Sins. Yeah, definitely is.
Yeah, and
just at least.
Just as anticipated, right? When the bottom of the leaderboard starts developing their comps and start winning, the top of the leaderboard is where the HP comes from, and it inevitably makes everything get tighter, right? And again, that is happening right here and right now. It's going to be a Cav spat. This actually is going to go good on a lot of people.
Cav Lee Sin.
Yeah.
Definitely my bet there.
especially with the attack speed debuff, Lee Sin can be really nice to have. We do have a Rel 2 just chilling on the bench.
Yeah, it really wants to put that in. I would say over the 6 Nightbringers, those are probably going to be a bit more effective. Sells the
Wow.
Aphelios too, gets a lot of gold back from it, and gets
Yep.
to cycle the Zephyr, and gets the Gooba's Karma. Beautiful.
Yeah. Isn't enough.
Let's
Goss
see.
was right in front of it, so
Gets polyed.
gets CC'd and the healing mitigation and the shrooms.
Yeah, the shrooms are big at dealing with Yasuo, but he's just healing so much with the double
He is
Hodge.
just healing. Yeah, I don't know if there's enough damage on the board right now. I think the way that we win this is by getting Khroeled, and we don't at this point around. So that was a legitimate 1v6 against Gooba, tier 2 4-cost unit, getting taken down by a tier 2 3-cost unit with double Hodge. Well, Fist of Fairness and then a Hand of Justice.
Oh man, we get into the stage 5 carousel and some things have transpired. Gangly's still alive, Dawnglade and Arakawa and Lucan going to be oh actually no, Lucan's still alive. Just
Dawnglade and Arakawa did get 7th.
Yeah.
Probably still in the top 3, but we shall see at the end of the day.
If
I'm not gonna
no, actually I don't know. I'm not gonna try to do that math right now.
Doing math while if any of y'all listening right now, doing math while casting is like saying Macbeth before a play. Right? It's just like one of those like
you just don't do it
things. Right? If you can do it, like all the power to you, because I struggled with 8 plus 1 earlier. So or 9 plus 1 equals 10. So things can happen. I'm so excited to see this Akshan do all of that work, but a lot of CC so far and not a ton of damage, and it actually wasn't the Akshan taking the dub there completely. It was the combination of the Nocturne and the Fiddlestick. So the real carry is back, and we just happen to have some really great reinforcements along the way too.
Oh, this lobby is so close, Boop. Gooba being number 1 with 31 HP gets the final person to be blessed with the Radiant Blessing. Revenant is not bad. Renewer, Revenant Teemo.
That's what I say to myself when I look in the mirror.
Oh no.
It's better than what I was doing before, which was crying. Just kidding. I love myself.
Progress.
Yeah. Exactly. Progress is progress. True words have never been spoken. Looking at this comp, Revenant Teemo. So we do have some Khroel potential here. I hope we get to see it. The Revenant is a little silly, but usually when you have this comp, you're already doing pretty good. But this is where, this is just, it just doesn't do enough damage at the end of the day sometimes. But Karma can deal with Kale, right? We've been saying that all day. We finally get to see it in our eyes. And we have a top 4 in double elimination. Gangly getting 5th there. What an incredible run back, though. From 7 HP, I think won about 7 or 8 rounds in a row. Almost snuck into the top 4, but the top 4 also pretty far separated. They're going to be really happy that Gangly's gone, because Gangly's like the reason why this lobby got closer.
Definitely. That feels so tragic to have that, have the hope for round after round after round to have stabilized, gotten a random Akshan 2 Sin emblem on level 7, almost make the comeback to top 4, but then barely not hit it. Feels bad.
All right, rolling to 9, or leveling to 9. We have a Gwen 2 if we want it. We could always just lock it.
A lot of pairs.
Well. Okay, so we're going to prioritize that Gwen 2. We still have a Gragas 2 on the bench for exactly one reason, which is to get those items off of the Gragas eventually has been the plan, but just hasn't really happened just yet.
Yeah, let's find a Garen.
Here we go.
Gonna be given a bit of a brawler buff, I suppose, to himself and Volibear. Volibear doesn't even get the jump off before getting taken down, and doesn't because the Lucian's going to take him out as well. The dual carry from Jose Paul on the other side of the board means that Karma now goes down from Guma. The Teemo being... actually, the Gragas comes in and slams him! What? Give that Gragas a raise. We're not replacing him. He's gonna stay in there. Jose out in fourth, maybe even third.
Oh
Yes.
man, that's the first time I've ever seen that happen. A Gragas like sprinting to the
so
back
funny.
line. Whoa! Hold on 1 second.
Keg in the air, ready to slam down.
Probably already a couple deep, right? Walking a crooked line to the back line, slams the keg down. There it is. Gragas was ready to party.
Really, really was. Now Goob has to say, hey, am I selling something or just locking this Ivern 2? Probably just a lock. We're not in threat of losing the game this round. It will be a couple more rounds no matter what happens, from Shining Star being at 28, Gooba being at 31.
I don't think a single lobby today is reaching round 7. Oh,
No,
this one might. This one might. If one person wins the next, if one person wins the next 3 rounds, then probably not. But if we do get some trading, which Shining Star I don't think is gonna need because we have a Yasuo 3, and we literally just saw this win last lobby in 1v6 this lobby. We do finally have some healing mitigation down, but even with the 2 hand of Just Die, it seems like that is good enough. We're gonna need some really good karma hits there. Oh,
the healing doesn't come through.
And it happens. Karma, the coin flip champion in TFT, right? Sometimes she does that. Other times she decides to walk forward for some reason and then, get taken down by an assassin. But again, without Gangly here, right, Karma becomes exponentially stronger. Things like Kale become stronger because that assassin player isn't going to be winning those rounds anymore, right? And so now that we have 2 comps, it's Invokers versus Nightbringers, right? This is what we're going to see.
And this is even without any Garens at all, without Volley 2, without Teemo 2. This is not the ideal spot to be in. Shining Star has a wonderful Zephyr, though, or excuse me, Shroud onto the back line. Syndra throws the Yasuo into a corner. That's just a Syndra 1, able to do all of that. It might make a difference in this fight.
Yeah, no, he has to walk all the way back to the Karma, was already on the Karma. It's going to get CC'd, and now the targeting's not really going to be that big of an issue because there's only 1 target, and we're going to get crueled.
There we go. Yeah, cruel happens. We get to see it. There we go.
Who needs a tier 3 unit when you got a Teemo? It's Karma. I believe if Karma wins this lobby, it will be the first Karma win since the first couple patches in Fight Night Rising.
Wow, yeah, that would be... It's been a while. It's been a while.
Seriously. It was only the first lockdown the last time it happened. But let's see here.
Garen.
We do find the Garen. That's only going to make us better. Honestly, part of me, this is why I say don't build relationships with your units. It was that exact situation.
The Gragas like, I don't know, this Gragas got a smurf so far. Like,
I feel like he deserves to be in the last, lineup, right? I think he's earned the right, but unfortunately, the right move was made, and we moved it over to the Garen. And this might be the last fight.
Very much might be, depending on if Shining Star can find a win somehow, some way. Zephyr go onto the Rel and the Garen. Yasuo gets polyed though. Can he make his way onto the Karma and take her out? I mean, he's right there. He is there. He has to turn
Syndra
around.
Ult now? Yep.
There we go.
Oh, okay. So the Syndra ult does find purchase. And it's going to be same old, same old. That's going to be Karma.
He's going to be getting crueled again. It's going to happen.
Yep, he's going to get crueled again.
Oh, no. Feels bad to lose to Cruel like that, but
why isn't
a good tech from Gooba to get the Revenant's Pat for Teemo, because that's why that happened right there.
Yeah. Also, I would be flipping out right now if I just won a lobby because of Cruel on that Teemo. That is something you would not be able to show my screen if that was the case. I would be freaking out so much.
Pop it off.
Yeah,
exactly. Over all everywhere. That'd be
exactly
what a treat to see actually happen in 2 rounds in a row, too, being the reason why those rounds are won. Let's take a look at all of the scores as we wrap up tonight. It is once again going to be how many weeks is this now? You gotta keep track.
Oh, this is 10. We're in double digits. Yeah, yeah. I think he just made his 10th week.
All right. Congrats to Jose Paulo. We'll get Jose in here for an interview here soon. But first, all the other winners from tonight. Gooba in second place with that win,
Karma.
27 points.
3 out of those 4 lobbies were Karma.
That's crazy. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Karma back on the menu, back on the list of maybe viable compositions. Harukawa, Maki as well, rounding out the top 3. Did pretty well the whole day. I know they were saying that they thought that their spot in the last game was a bit unplayable. Maybe it was, and that's been unfortunate. Still gets to come back next week, gets to prove more consistency. And Shining Star barely wrapping up the top 4, 21 points versus Eula's 20. Shining Star earning a bit of money as well.
I don't know about you, my friend, but this was an interesting day of games.
It definitely was. Some things we expected, some things definitely not.
Yasuo is back.
Yasuo is back
on the menu.
Like, the 1-2 game between the Dawnbringer reroll versus the Yasuo reroll was just like, how did we get here? I thought, I mentioned it in game. I thought we were trying to avoid this with previous patches, but I guess it turns out once you nerf most other 4 costs, yeah, you're gonna have 3 cost 3 stars being pretty valuable again, pretty strong.
Yeah, I agree, and it's just it makes me think of all the other things that I kind of was like, oh, I can't play that anymore.
Yeah.
Right, but maybe not, because what has if there's a lesson that Fight Night has taught me is nerfs don't necessarily mean out of meta.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right, and I remember there was a week where there were a ton of nerfs and no one changed anything.
Yeah.
And so, after today, things seemed a little bit different. Really excited to talk to Jose today, though, because we don't have to talk about assassins.
Yeah, true. We get to actually be talking about more. It's always like, okay, Jose, good to see you again. How's the Sins been? Good. Open forwarding. All right, great. But maybe we'll get some new perspective now, as I believe we do have Jose with us. Jose, congratulations on yet another Fight Night Rising victory. How you feeling? Especially with, kind of, not bringing assassins to the table like we would expect you to see usually.
Well, thank you and good morning. Yeah, no sins this week. I spiced it up a bit.
Was this would you come into today just being like, all right, I'm not gonna do sins? Was this premeditated? Like, when did you decide you are not mentally committed, married to the Nocturne anymore?
Oh, I saw Gangly playing this week and I coached him for a couple hours playing sins. And he was like, me Sins, me Nocturne. I was like, okay, I'll learn how to play. I just spent yesterday's stream like learning how to play flexibly. So that's what I ended up doing.
And with Gangly getting your coaching, maybe the results that you weren't expected or hoping Gangly to have. With that being said,
what did he do wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, his spots were fine in all the games. He got screwed over by his Radiant options. What he told me. Like, he had ZZ Rod and Blue Buff in 2 of his games, so...
well, okay, the last one was kind of his fault because he had already stacked his Nocturne, so that's why he picked Blue Buff there. Just saying.
Yeah, it is interesting though, but Nocturne and Sins aside, do one more question for I fully pass it to Boop. No, but hogging a lot of questions here. Sorry, Boop. But what are your thoughts, Jose, on just this general patch? I mean, do you think of it as a positive one that helps the meta? Do you actually see it maybe being detrimental because the meta was maybe in a good spot? Or kind of what are your overall thoughts on it?
There was a lot of karma today, right? In like 3-star 3 costs.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that because that's like one of my favorite ways to play the game, especially from like a mid-roll spot. Like, I think in my like Riven mid league game, like that my spot was like pretty bad. So having a different out and like different option was like pretty good, knowing that option is like viable again this patch, whereas I don't think it would have been last patch. Kind of surprised that Kale did kind of meh. Thought Kale would be good, like even better, but maybe the tempo was like higher because of like all the 3-star 3 costs. But other than that, like, yeah, I like the changes. I like the Galio nerfs and like the volley nerfs and like those big nerfs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, the last thing I kind of just wanted to run by you, man, is just like, now that you're touching the grass a little bit on some other comps, right? Are there any that speak to you that you want to maybe 20 out of 20, or are you missing your sins right now?
No, I think I'll just learn how to play flexibly and try to not. I think I've only played 1 Nocturne game the entire week, so it's like a detox kind of thing. So it's time to learn how to play the game again.
sometimes you can get a little too clingy, with your relationships, right? And it could be the same case in gaming. But last question from me is this just kind of like your next obvious like step in your gaming career? Because I saw in your POV that you have a sub goal for full-time streaming. Is that something that you're trying to get to right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing anything right now. So if I can like commit to this fully, that would be my dream for the time being for sure. That's what I'm aspiring to do. So I think it takes like more commitment and like more hours into streaming that I've been kind of um being lazy with. So I think it's just I think I just need to like be more proactive and be more assertive with like what I want to do with my life right now. And
Intentional.
that's the goal.
That's the word I
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Intentionality. Yeah. That rules all as an adult. If this boomer can give some advice to all the youngins in here. But yeah, Khroen, that's it for me.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be turning into some wisdom session with Jose. I'm sure we can learn a lot from this conversation, but not the time for it. Maybe next week, Jose, if you can defend your title, we get to pick your brain a bit more again. But once again, congratulations, best of luck with you in the streaming moving forward, and we will see you here next week on Fight Night Rising.
Thank you. Thanks again for having me. Appreciate you guys.
Of course.
Thank you for being here and being a wonderful competitor. All right. Boop, yet again, we reach another conclusion of Fight Night Rising, once again, with Jose being the victor. But, I mean, what are your main takeaways for today? I guess I just wanted, as broadly as possible, throw that question out here, because I think there is a lot that happened today, as, you were mentioning even yourself earlier.
Yeah, some of it was non-traditional. My biggest takeaway was shields are back on the menu, which means Nightbringers are back.
Yeah.
Double Hodge
And the
apparently
Yasuo.
is a thing. Kale, not as good as I thought, just like Jose said.
Yep.
Seeing these reroll comps, Kale's never going to live in that world, ever. So it's just too slow. So yeah, seeing these rerolls, Riven might be back. Like, that's the kind of thing that I'm thinking of right now, is that Nidalee wrecked.
Oh, yeah.
And that Dawnbringer comp was really good. Vayne wasn't as good. Like, we saw some reroll comps that weren't successful, right? But the ones that are high level traditionally did perform. And I've gotta say, if like Fight Night Rising competitors at this time in set 1, I don't think we're as good as any of the players that we're seeing right now. It's everyone has gotten better at TFT, and it's definitely showing through Fight Night, through Worlds, unless you're an NA participant this very last go round. That was a little dominant by Robin. Yeah,
a little bit to say the least. Yeah, 1-1-1, 5-1-1, the most impressive run ever seen. Good luck to all the competitors, of course, at Worlds. We got a couple more fight nights, until then, so we can talk about that more later as well. But certainly, 100% agree with you. I think that over the course of literally like any game, players just being exposed to playing more and more, we keep on learning and building off of each other and just reaching higher and higher and higher echelons of game knowledge. That translates all throughout every single rank, right? It starts at the top, finds its way down towards the bottom, and we're still here towards the top with Master Plus players in Fight Night Rising. Definitely seeing a lot of that. So I'm always excited for future weeks, because of that. I think concept at its core, I think we're always going to see maybe in your words, like innovation, but players just figuring out how to pilot the game of TFT just better and better. And it's a treat to see players like Jose doing that.
Yep, the quality is only going to get better.
Exactly.
And that's always good for for an entire field of esports, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm just excited for what we're seeing, especially with this meta being so fluid as it has been. We have been seeing a lot of assassins at Fight Night, but that hasn't really been the case in my own personal games, right? So moving forward, I think we're going to continue to see the diversity, and we'll see who's going to win Worlds eventually. But like you said, we have a couple more Fight Nights to get through.
Couple more Fight Nights to get through, and we will be having the next one, of course, next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. Central. We're signing off for now, but this has been Khroen and Boop, bringing you Fight Night Rising, brought to you by Wisdom. We'll see you next time.